Prologue. Failed seal ritual. Naruto's boots skidded across the cracked earth as Kaguya's ash bones rained down like divine punishment. Sasuke's Rinnegan flared, warping space to yank Sakura out of the path of a jagged spire. Blood trickled from the Uchiha's brow. Even the eternal Mangekyo couldn't keep up with this. Plans falling apart, Kurama roared in Naruto's mind as the Nine-Tails cloak flickered, its edges dissolving into golden embers. No kidding, Naruto spat, lobbing a Rasen shuriken that Kaguya vaporized with a glance. Sakura now. The Kunoichi lunged, her fist cratering the goddess's ribcage in a spray of pale dust. Kaguya staggered, her Rin-Sharingan pupils dilating. For half a breath, it looked like they might actually pull this off. Sasuke tossed the Otsutsuki relics, a crescent blade and a cracked orb, into the air. Channel everything, he barked. The artifacts hummed, drinking in their combined chakra. The sealing array lit beneath Kaguya's feet, its hexagonal patterns climbing her body like chains. That's when the ground moved. Black Zetsu oozed from the ritual circle itself, his grin splitting Sakura's shadow. Mother foresaw this possibility, he hissed. Her will transcends dimensions. His arm speared upward, not at Kaguya, but at the relics. He sought to prevent the sealing of Kaguya's power, hopping to unleash it across the multiverse. The orb shattered. A shockwave of distorted chakra punched through the battlefield. Sakura's healing glow snuffed out as she collapsed, Zetsu's tendrils burrowing into her shoulder. The sealing array twisted, its sacred geometry warping into a spiraling abyss. Kaguya's scream tore reality as the vortex swallowed her, the relics and Team 7's last hope in a single gulp. Dobi, Sasuke's Sharingan spun wildly, but his Susanoo evaporated mid-summon. Naruto reached for them, for Sakura's outstretched hand, for Sasuke's fatting chakra, as the world dissolved into static. Hold on, Kurama bellowed. But there was nothing left to hold. Cosmic transition. The void didn't feel like falling, it felt like unexisting. No sound, no light, just Naruto's fraying consciousness unraveling like a snapped wire. Kurama, he screamed internally, but even the fox's growl had gone silent. For the first time in years, he was alone, a leaf torn through a hurricane of collapsing dimensions. Then pressure. He slammed into something solid. Grass tickled his palms. When he opened his eyes, he was kneeling in a meadow under a sky choked with swirling galaxies. The air smelled like ramen broth and old parchment. Took you long enough, knucklehead. Naruto whipped around. Hagoromo Otsutsuki sat cross-legged beside a floating tea set, sipping from a cup that defied gravity. The sage looked annoyed. What the hell, old man? Naruto lunged at him, but his hands phased through the sage's robes. Where's Sasuke, Sakura? Hagoromo sighed. Gone, scattered across the multiverse. Zetsu's tampering didn't just break the seal, it shattered reality itself. He gestured to the starry sky where jagged cracks pulsed like infected veins, and they are coming through those wounds. Who? The rest of Kaguya's clan, her betters who seek to reclaim her power and reshape reality in their image. The sage's form began flickering. Listen carefully. Your soul is being repurposed as an anchor. A mantle of the first rebel, a being who defied the Otsutsuki long ago, is binding to your... Speak normal, Naruto yelled, grabbing at his hair. Why am I see-through? Why am I here? Hagoromo's eyes softened. Because you died, Naruto Uzumaki. Before the words could sink in, a roar split the meadow. Kurama's chakra erupted around Naruto, but it wasn't orange. It was black, threaded with crimson lightning. A tattered cloak materialized over Naruto's shoulders, its edges burning with hellfire. This mantle grants its wearer immense demonic power, but at the cost of their own soul. This thing's eating my chakra, Kurama snarled, his voice distorted deeper. Fight it, idiot. Naruto gagged as the mantle constricted. His veins lit with molten pain, Nine-Tails chakra and something older clawing for dominance. Hagoromo's voice echoed as the meadow dissolved. The underworld claims you, but claim it back. Reality inverted. Naruto's soul plunged into a new agony, a body reforged in demonic fire. Kurama's growl now carried 1,000 layered voices, one dripping with smug malice. Welcome to the upgrade, brat. Somewhere in the dark between worlds, Kaguya's kin tasted the disturbance and smiled. Underworld awakening. Naruto's lungs burned as he inhaled sulfur-thick air. His knees hit polished black stone that shimmered like oil under the blood-red light of floating braziers. The throne room stretched endlessly, obsidian pillars carved with screaming faces, ceilings lost in shadow, and a floor that pulsed like a living thing. "Well," drawled a voice like silk dipped in venom, "this is unexpected." Naruto looked up. A dozen figures ringed him, their tailored suits at odds with the horns, scales, and glowing eyes marking them as not human. A woman with moth wings and a crown of thorns smirked. "A mortal here? Did someone forget to lock the kennel?" "Where here?" Naruto growled, staggering to his feet. His body felt wrong, heavier, hotter, like his veins were full of molten lead. "A devil with a jackal's snout sniffed the air. He reeks of heavenly chakra and Lord Lucifer's stink." Laughter rippled through the nobles. A lanky demon with 6 arms and a monocle adjusted his cufflinks. "Clearly a glitch in the infernal bureaucracy. Shall we toss him into the Styx? I hear soul crocodiles are peckish." "Play along," Kurama's voice rumbled, now layered with a guttural growl Naruto didn't recognize. "These maggots respect power or teeth." The moth-winged devil lunged first, her hand elongating into a barbed whip. Naruto's body moved before his brain did. A searing heat exploded between his shoulder blades, black and gold wings shredded through his jacket, their feathery edges shimmering with truth-seeking orbs. The wings snapped forward, deflecting the whip and sending the devil crashing into a pillar. "Silence!" Naruto stared at the wings, now arched defensively like a hawk's. They thrummed with a mix of Ninetales chakra and something hungrier. "Interesting," purred a noble with ram horns and a 3-piece suit. He clapped slowly, his cloven hooves clicking on the stone. "Lucifer's mantle hasn't chosen a host in millennia, and it picks a child who smells of wet dog." "Let me eat him," Kurama hissed, the demonic edge in his voice sharpening, just a little. Naruto ignored the fox, barring newly pointed canines. "I'm nobody's puppet. Tell me how to get home, or I'll redecorate this dump with your faces." The nobles exchanged glances, then burst into laughter, a sound like shattering glass. The ram-horned devil stepped closer, unfazed by the wings. "Home? Oh, little mongrel, you are home." He gestured to the obsidian throne at the room's center, its back etched with a winged serpent. "That's yours now, assuming you survive the next 5 min." A tremor shook the fortress. Somewhere a bell tolled. Kurama's chuckle vibrated in Naruto's skull. "Too late, they're here." The nobles froze as a roar shook the walls, a sound that wasn't human, devil, or beast. Naruto's wings flared. "They who?" The moth-winged devil spat a curse. "Your guests, Lord Lucifer, the ones clawing at our gates." She grinned, all fangs. "Welcome to Pandemonium." End of Chapter 0. Start of Chapter 1. Throne Room Confrontation. The obsidian throne felt like a block of ice against Naruto's back. He slouched in it, boots propped on the armrest, while a dozen devil nobles in designer suits glared at him like he'd track mud on their Persian rugs. "Let me get this straight," Naruto said, picking at his claw-tipped fingers. "You want me to, what, sign paperwork, host a ball? Do I look like a guy who owns a fancy hat?" Sirzechs Lucifer, red-haired, polished, and radiating CEO of Hell Energy, leaned forward. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "The mantle chooses its vessel, and the underworld respects that choice even if they don't understand it," he said. "You inherited the mantle, Naruto Uzumaki. That means adhering to ancient protocols, starting with the council's approval." He gestured to the row of shriveled devils behind him, their skin like cracked parchment. One council member, a skeletal thing with antlers, slammed a bony hand on the table. "This urchin lacks satanic pedigree. The mantle is clearly defective." Kurama snorted in Naruto's mind. "Defective? I'll defective his face off." Naruto's wings, black and gold, their feathery edges shimmering with truth-seeking orbs, twitched irritably. "Listen, Gramps, I didn't ask for this gig, but if you're gonna yap about pedigree, how about I show you my resume?" He flicked a finger. A spark of orange chakra laced with crimson hellfire ignited on his palm. The room gasped, Sirzech's eyebrow arched. "Half-breed energy fascinating." "Half-breed?" Naruto shot to his feet, the throne freezing his butt. "This half-breed kicked a goddess's teeth in. You want legitimacy? Fine." He slammed his palm on the council's relic-covered table. Chakra and demonic energy erupted in a spiral, melting ancient sigils into slag. The antlered devil screeched as his staff, a 10,000-year-old symbol of authority, exploded into neon ash. Sirzechs flicked a speck of debris off his suit. That was a historical artifact. And that, Naruto jabbed a thumb at himself, was a demo. Next one's free. Kurama cackled, they're sweating, the horned one's literally sweating lava. The council recoiled, muttering about uncouth power and security risks. Sirzechs studied Naruto, his calm cracking into curiosity. Where exactly does your energy come from? Naruto grinned, fangs sharp, trade secret, but hey, stick around, I do free shows every time someone calls me urchin. The nobles erupted into chaos. Naruto flopped back onto the throne, ignoring the hellfire still licking his wrists. This he could work with. Ninetales transformation. Naruto's skin itched like he'd rolled in fire ants. The meeting with Sirzechs had left him raw, and Kurama's growls in his head kept spiking into staticky laughter. You think this is bad? Wait till the moon's high, the fox sneered, his voice warped by a guttural, unfamiliar edge. Shut up, Naruto muttered, packing his new chambers, a cave-like room with walls that oozed black sludge. I'm not in the mood for your demonic pep talks. Not my voice, idiot, Kurama snapped. It's the other thing, the mantle. A surge of heat blasted through Naruto's ribs. He stumbled, claws gouging the floor as his vision swam red. Oh no, Kurama hissed, it's triggering the transformation. Naruto screamed, drown the rest. Golden chakra erupted, but it wasn't golden anymore. It was black, veined with crimson and reeking of sulfur. His body twisted, bones cracking as 9 tails of hellfire shredded through the room. The walls melted, the floor vaporized, and Naruto wasn't in control. Mine, roared a voice that wasn't Kurama. This realm is mine. The demon fox, now a colossal monstrosity with wings and glowing cracks in its fur, burst through the palace roof. Its tails lashed, each strike carving canyons into the hellscape. Ground split, spewing lava that boiled into toxic clouds. In the distance, a mountain range imploded. Sirzechs materialized midair, dodging a tail swipe. Ajuka, we need containment now. A devil with mint-green hair and a lab coat yawned into existence, scribbling on a notepad as debris whizzed past his head. Fascinating, chakra interacting with hellfire creates volcanic entropy. Note, add to thesis. Dai, the demon fox howled, its maw charging a Baijudama black, bubbling with red lightning. Ajuka sighed, tiresome, he snapped his fingers. Magical circles erupted beneath the fox, their equations shifting faster than Naruto could blink. Chains of neon green light wrapped the beast, squeezing until the Baijudama fizzled. The fox thrashed, but the chains dug in, searing symbols into its chakra. Temporary suppressors, Ajuka said, adjusting his glasses, stole the concept from what did that human call them? Sealing tags. Charming. The demon fox shrank, collapsing back into Naruto's scorched body. He lay in a crater, steam rising off his skin as Ajuka peered down at him. You're leaking interdimensional radiation, the devil said cheerfully. Try not to explode before I dissect you. Sirzechs landed beside them, eyeing the smoldering wasteland. This chakra, it's not just energy, is it? Naruto spat ash. What gave it away? The asterisk volcano I just sneezed. Kurama's voice echoed weakly, split between 2 tones, one familiar, one feral. The mantle, it's not possessing me exactly. It's layering itself over my soul. I can't stop. Naruto stared at his trembling, clawed hands. The ground beneath him was still glowing. Welcome to hell, he thought, literally. Underworld orientation. Graphia Lucid's heels clicked like gunshots as she marched Naruto down a corridor lined with screaming faces. Literally screaming, the stone mouths in the walls wailed as they passed. This is the Forbidden Archive, she said, gesturing to a vault door covered in chains that hissed at her touch. Try to touch anything and the security system will reduce you to sentient dust. Naruto squinted at the writhing chains. What's in there? Devil taxes from 12 BC. Worse historical records. The vault groaned open, revealing a library the size of Konoha. Floating grimoires snapped at Naruto like feral cats as Graphia led him past shelves of pickled demon heads and a fountain spewing liquid starlight. Keep up, she said, not glancing back. The pre-satanic era section is awe. Naruto froze. A massive mural dominated the wall, an army of horned devils bowing to robed figures with Byakugan eyes and crescent horns. One held a Gyudadama, another clutched Kaguya's rabbit staff. What the hell? Naruto breathed. Precisely, Grafia said dryly. These are the Otsutsuki extra-dimensional parasites who bargained with early devil clans. They demanded tribute in exchange for, she hesitated. For not eating your world, Naruto guessed, tracing Kaguya's painted smirk. Grafia's icy composure flickered. You recognize them. Oh yeah, family reunion material. He kicked a pedestal holding a cracked tablet. So devils and shinobi used to be buddies. Allies briefly, until the Otsutsuki betrayed both factions during the... A book suddenly screamed, pages flapping wildly. Grafia yanked Naruto back as the mural's Kaguya figure moved, her stone hand swiping where his head had been. Security system, Grafia said, straightening her uniform. I did warn you. Naruto stared at the now static mural. Any other allies I should know about? Ninja turtles, demigod raccoons. Just me, Grafia said, handing him a clipboard. Per Sirzechs orders, I'm your interim advisor. Sign here. Naruto squinted at the fine print. Mandatory etiquette lessons, no transforming in designated heritage zones. Pass. Grafia plucked a quill from thin air. Sign or I revoke your ramen privileges. You can't. Hell's kitchens are mine. Naruto scribbled his name so hard the paper ignited. Happy. Delirious, she incinerated the ashes. Now your first lesson, stop Cockabeel's faction from spying on us. Naruto blinked. Who? Across the room, a shadowy figure ducked behind a bookshelf. Grafia sighed. The zealot who thinks half-breeds shouldn't rule hell. He's been tailing us since we entered. Naruto cracked his knuckles, demonic wings flaring. And you didn't lead with that. Grafia smirked, a tiny, terrifying thing. Considerate orientation. End of Chapter 1. Start of Chapter 2. Demon Magic Boot Camp. Ajuka's training room looked like a supervillain's garage sale, floating equations, glowing orbs trapped in cages, and a blackboard scribbled with symbols that gave Naruto a migraine. The devil's scientist tossed him a chunk of chalk. Today's lesson, space-time manipulation. Draw a ritual circle that can warp a cubic meter of hell's bedrock 5 seconds into the past. Naruto stared. You want me to time travel a rock? Correction, part of a rock, begin. Naruto scratched his head, chalk squeaking as he drew something resembling a lopsided pizza. Ajuka sighed. That's a summoning circle for plague rats. Hey, you tried drawing with claws. Naruto's wings twitched irritably. Why can't I just punch spacetime into doing what I want? Ajuka snapped his fingers. The ground beneath Naruto folded, dropping him into a hole that spat him out upside down 10 feet up. He face-planted, because spacetime punches back. Grumbling, Naruto slapped his mangled circle. Fine, but I'm adding my own spin. Orange chakra flared, flooding the chalk lines. The circle glowed wrong, demonic red bleeding into Ninetales gold. The ground trembled, a boulder warped and then screamed, its surface morphing into a screeching mouth. Ajuka leaned in, fascinated. Fascinating. You've merged chakra with demonic runes to create a hybrid spacetime anomaly. I've created a what? The mutated boulder exploded. Out staggered a three-headed thing, part toad, part hellhound, all drool. It belched a fireball that incinerated Ajuka's blackboard. Accidental summoning, Ajuka noted, dodging lava spit. Foul temper, likely from the chakra-mana imbalance. Excellent data. Naruto ducked as the beast lunged. Help. Solution, reverse the ritual. Channel energy through your left wing's tertiary feather. My what? A fang grazed his arm. Naruto grabbed a truth-seeking feather, jammed it into the circle, and poured chakra in. The hybrid summon imploded with a pop, leaving a smoking crater. Ajuka scribbled furiously. Self-correcting spacetime anomaly, you're innovative. Naruto collapsed, covered in ash. Can't feel my face. Progress, Ajuka tossed him a hellfire-resistant ice pack. Tomorrow, multiversal thermodynamics. Kurama groaned. Warn me before you melt reality next time. Council intrigue. The underworld council chamber smelled like burnt incense and bad intentions. Naruto slouched in Lucifer's throne, still icy, still stupidly uncomfortable, while a weasel-faced devil in a silk robe monologued about purity of lineage. Lord Lucifer, Deodora Staroth sneered, his voice syrup-sweet. Surely even a surface-world transient understands the danger of losing sacred relics. He gestured to a hologram of an empty vault. These artifacts are said to contain fragments of the original world tree, granting immense power to those who can control them. The Otsutsuki artifacts vanished the day you arrived. Coincidence? Naruto's truth-seeking wings rustled. You wanna call me a thief? Say it to my face, cupcake. Grafia, standing rigid at his side, whispered, Don't engage, he's baiting you. Too late, Deodora's smirk widened. He snapped his fingers, projecting an image of Naruto's first rampage, the demon fox tearing through hellscapes. Our king leaks foreign energy like a broken dam. Who knows what else he's unleashed? The council erupted. A bat-winged devil shouted, Half-breed filth. Another hurled a goblet. Naruto caught it, crushing the metal as molten hellfire dripped from his claws. Funny, Naruto growled. I didn't hear you clowns complaining when I barbecued Cockabeel's spies last week. Sirzechs, lounging in the shadows, chuckled. He's got you there, Deodora. Deodora's eye twitched. This isn't a joke. First the artifacts, now this. He flung a scroll onto the table. It unfurled to show a mural of Otsutsuki devouring a devil army. Their energy is a plague, and our king is patient zero. Before Naruto could retort, the chamber's lights died. A rasping voice hissed from the darkness, Die, abomination. Naruto's instincts flared. He lunged sideways as a cursed senjutsu spear, black, reeking of rotten nature energy, slammed into the throne. The stone exploded, shrapnel embedding in the walls. Ambush, Grafia barked, summoning ice swords. Naruto's wings flared, truth-seeking feathers deflecting two more spears. The attacker, a hooded figure with glowing red eyes, leapt from the shadows, claws aimed at Naruto's throat. Mine, Kurama roared, his demonic voice surging. Naruto's fist met the assassin's chest in a burst of hybrid chakra hellfire. The figure disintegrated, leaving only a scorched mask. Silence! Naruto kicked the mask. It bore the Astaroth crest. Oops, he said, staring pointedly at Deodora. Looks like your fan club into stabby art projects. Makes you wonder what you're really after, Deodora. The council exploded again, this time with accusations. Deodora paled but kept smirking. A cheap frame job, though convenient you've mastered hellfire so quickly. Some say you stole the artifacts to unlock their power for yourself. Sirzechs rose, his playful aura gone. Enough, Naruto's my problem, but Deodora, he flicked the Astaroth mask into ash. Clean your house or I will. As the council dispersed, Grafia knelt to examine the curse residue. This senjutsu, it's tainted with Otsutsuki energy. Naruto's stomach dropped. On the floor, the assassin's ashes formed a symbol he'd seen in Pandemonium's archives, a crescent moon devouring a serpent. Kaguya's clan was here, and they'd made friends. Kurama's evolution. The training field looked like a meteor had hit it. Again, Naruto wiped ash off his face, glaring at the 6 demon fox shadow clones currently arm-wrestling a lava geyser. Their fur flickered black and crimson, tails sparking with hellfire, and their glowing red eyes kept winking at him. This is your fault, Naruto hissed internally. My fault? Kurama's voice split into 2 overlapping tones, one familiar, one snarling and deep. You're the idiot who tried cloning me without a stabilizer. Ajuka floated nearby, scribbling notes as a clone spat fire at the sky. Fascinating, your chakra acts as a catalyst, but the clones run on demonic mana, roughly a 3:1 ratio. Naruto ducked as a clone lobbed a mini Baijudama at its twin. Ratio? What ratio? For every 3 parts chakra, 1 part mana, reverse it and… Ajuka snapped his fingers. One clone suddenly imploded, sucking a crater into the ground. Boom. Science is stupid, both versions of Kurama growled in unison. Naruto groaned, how do I fix them? Embrace the imbalance, Ajuka said, tossing him a hellfruit. Or explode, both are educational. Before Naruto could retort, Grafia's voice crackled through a communication orb. Deodora's faction is inbound. They're armed with static. A hail of cursed senjutsu arrows rained down. Naruto's clones disintegrated on impact, their hellfire snuffing out. From the smoke emerged Deodora, flanked by devils wielding Otsutsuki-styled weapons. Time to die, mongrel, Deodora purred, raising a blade etched with Kaguya's crest. Enough, Kurama's demonic voice rumbled. Burn them all. Naruto's chakra flared uncontrollably, but this time he pulled mana from the underworld itself. The energies collided in his palm, chakra and hellfire spiraling into a swirling orb of black and gold. Truth-seeking orbs materialized around it, fusing into a single, pulsing demon ball. New move, Naruto grinned, blood trickling from his nose. Call it Hellfire Rasengan. He thrust the orb forward. It devoured Deodora's arrows, the shockwave melting weapons and sending devils fleeing. The demon ball kept expanding, tearing a hole in reality itself before Ajuka contained it with a flick of his wrist. Deodora fled, but not before snarling, "This isn't over." Kurama's voices argued as the adrenaline faded. "That was my power. Our power furball." Naruto collapsed, his arms smoking. "Remind me to never do that again." Ajuka peered into the lingering spatial rift. "Fascinating. The ball's composition suggests multiversal tunneling properties. We should test it 50 more times." Grafia arrived, ice sword still drawn. "What happened here?" Naruto gestured weakly at the apocalypse in progress. Demon Playdate. End of Chapter 2. Start of Chapter 3. Pandemonium Proving Grounds. The arena was a nightmare's playground. Lava moats bubbled around a cracked obsidian floor and the air smelled like burnt hair and bad decisions. Naruto cracked his neck, glaring at the three Belial champions across the pit. The leader, a hulking devil with 4 arms and a sword collection strapped to his back, spat a glob of acid that sizzled holes in the ground. "You're supposed to be Lucifer," the devil sneered. "You look like a raccoon that fell into a dye vat." Naruto's truth-seeking wings twitched. "And you look like a bad tattoo someone'll regret. Let's skip the small talk." The crowd, a sea of horns and fangs, roared as the fight began. The 4-armed devil lunged, swords swinging in a blender of death. Naruto ducked, channeling chakra into his palm. A Rasengan formed, but instead of blue, it burned black, swirling with hellfire. "Call it the Demon Spiral," Kurama barked, half amused. Naruto slammed it into the devil's gut. The explosion sent 2 swords flying into the lava. "Thanks for the branding tip." The second champion, a serpentine devil with venom-dripping claws, shot tendrils of shadow from her hands. Naruto backflipped, weaving devilish mana into a Rasen shuriken. It shrieked through the air, shadow and hellfire shredding the tendrils before detonating in a storm of black sparks. "That's cheating," the serpent hissed. "Says the lady with poison manicures." The third champion, a silent, hooded figure, snapped their fingers. The ground erupted in cursed chains. Naruto's wings blocked them, but the impact rattled his teeth. Out of moves, he thought, until Kurama's growl echoed. "Quit holding back, let the mantle in." Naruto's chakra flared, but this time it wasn't gold or orange. A sickly crimson aura erupted, his eyes shifting to a blood-red hexagon pattern. Truth-seeking orbs morphed into jagged, demonic shards orbiting him like saw blades. The crowd fell silent, even the lava seemed to pause. "6 paths, Hell Edition," Naruto muttered, flexing claws crackling with red lightning. The 4-armed devil charged. Naruto didn't move, just flicked a finger. A crimson Rasengan the size of a truck materialized midair, swallowing the devil whole and leaving a smoking crater. The serpent devil froze. "What are you?" Naruto grinned, fangs sharp. "The guy who's not gonna apologize for this." He lunged, the arena dissolving into a blur of red light and panic screaming. When the dust settled, the Belial faction's champions were embedded in the walls. Naruto's demonic aura faded, leaving him swaying but upright. In the VIP box, Grafia arched an eyebrow at Sirzechs. "You knew he could do that." Sirzechs sipped hellwine, hiding a smirk. "Let's call it a happy accident." Dimensional disturbance. Hell's Forge wasn't a place, it was a mood. Molten rivers of soul metal snaked through jagged caverns, and the air rang with the clang of demonic blacksmiths hammering cursed swords. Naruto wiped sweat from his brow, his Lucifer mantle doing jackal to block the heat. "Why are we here again?" he shouted over the din. Grafia side-eyed him. "Because unstable dimensional energy is melting our weapons stockpile. Focus." Ahead, the forge's heart pulsed like a dying star. But instead of the usual hellish glow, a jagged rip hung in the air, a portal flickering with familiar, oily chakra. Naruto's gut twisted. "Kurama, that smell?" "Otsutsuki rot," the fox growled, "but mixed with human sweat, living human." Naruto lunged toward the portal. Grafia hissed, "Wait for backup." Too late, he plunged his clawed hand into the rift. The void spat out a body, a man in scorched Kumo flak armor, his dark skin streaked with blood and ash. A Lightning Nation headband hung crookedly from his arm. Shinobi Naruto crouched, checking the man's pulse. "Hey, can you hear me?" The man's eyes fluttered open, pupils dilated with panic. T-tailed beast, cultists, they're using the rifts. He seized Naruto's wrist, his grip crushing. "They're harvesting us." Grafia froze. "Cultists." Naruto's gaze snapped to the man's collar. A pendant hung there, a black crescent moon swallowing a serpent, Kaguya's symbol. "Incoming!" Kurama roared. A blade of cursed senjutsu shot from the portal. Naruto yanked the Kumo shinobi aside, the attack grazing his shoulder. A figure in a bone-white mask emerged, robes billowing with Otsutsuki insignias. "The false king interferes," the cultist rasped, charging a Gyutadama-like orb. "You will not stop the ascension." Naruto's truth-seeking wings flared. "Yeah, tell that to my Rasengan." He launched a hellfire-infused spiral, but the cultist vanished, reappearing midair. Grafia's ice sword speared him, but he dissolved into black sludge, laughing. "You cannot kill what you do not understand, Lucifer." The portal collapsed, leaving only the Kumo shinobi's labored breathing. Naruto scooped him up. "What's your name, tough guy?" "Kei Kurosawa," the man coughed. "They took my team, used our chakra to feed something." Grafia examined the pendant. "This cult worships the Otsutsuki as gods. They believe that by harvesting chakra from specific bloodlines like those in Kumo, they can unlock the power to open a gateway for Kaguya's kin. But why attack Kumo?" Naruto stared at the fatting rift, Kurama's chakra simmering. "Because they're not just here, they're everywhere." Kurosawa gripped Naruto's arm weakly, saw a girl with Byakugan leading them like a ghost. The forge's heat turned icy. Naruto's mind flashed to the Hyuga to Hinata, but Grafia's voice cut through. "We need to move if the cult knows we're onto them." "Then let M come," Naruto said, adjusting Kurosawa's weight. "But first, we're getting this guy some ramen." As they left, the sludge from the cultist's body twitched, reforming into a tiny, venomous eye that watched them go. Kurama's bargain. The pit of forgotten packs wasn't on any map. It was a gaping sinkhole in Hell's wasteland where the air hissed with dead deals and broken promises. Naruto peered over the edge, watching shadowy shapes slither in the depths. "Remind me why we're making friends with Satan's goldfish." "Because," Kurama growled, "even I can't claw through dimensions alone. We need allies. Now shut up and let me talk." The Ninetales chakra flared, morphing into a colossal, fiery projection over Naruto. "OYFOSSILS," Kurama's voice shook the pit. "Time to pay your debts." A rumbling laugh answered. 3 ancient summons emerged. Vortigern, a magma-winged griffin with a debt ledger chained to its talons. Morgatha, a spider demon whose web shimmered with trapped souls. Sirzechs, Manda's great-great-grandkid, a 3-headed serpent with obsidian fangs and a voice like grinding boulders. The fox dares demand favors. Your last vessel died owing me 2 sacrifices. Naruto crossed his arms. "Yeah, well, I'm not great at math, but I do know how to make explosions. Let's renegotiate." Kurama's tail flicked impatiently. "Swear fealty and I'll void your old contracts. Refuse and the brat here turns your pit into a parking lot." Sirzechs' middle head snorted hellfire. "What's stopping us from eating you now?" Naruto slammed a truth-seeking demon ball into the pit's wall, vaporizing a chunk of bedrock. "This, and I've got plenty more." The summons hissed, but Vortigern leaned in, molten drool sizzling at Naruto's feet. "A Lucifer who fights dirty? Fine, but the snake's price is specific." Sirzechs' heads debated in sibilant whispers before the left one snapped. "1 drop of Otsutsuki blood. Bring it, or my venom dissolves your bones." "Done," Kurama lied smoothly. "We'll backstab Kaguya's cultists later." Naruto bit his thumb and slammed a bloody hand on Sirzechs' snout. The summoning pact seared into his arm like a brand. The serpent dissolved into smoke, leaving a charred scale in Naruto's palm. Morgatha chuckled, weaving a glowing web between her claws. "For the network, step through and it'll spit you anywhere once. Don't blame me if you lose a spleen." Back at Pandemonium, Naruto stared at the unstable portal swirling in his throne room. Kurama grumbled. It's held together by spider spit and hope. This network connects to countless dimensions, but it's unpredictable and dangerous. What could go wrong? Graphia stormed in, eyeing the web. Is that a teleportation circle? More like a teleportation suggestion, Naruto said, tossing Sirzechs' scale into the void. It vanished with a pop. But hey, now I can annoy multiple dimensions at once. Somewhere, a cultist with Byakugan eyes watched a scale materialize on her altar. She smiled. End of Chapter 3. Start of Chapter 4. Devil Curriculum. Pandemonium Academy looked like Hogwarts if Hogwarts ate too much radioactive waste. Spires of black crystal pierced a blood-red sky, and the textbooks growled when you opened them. Naruto slumped in a desk 2 sizes too small, picking at the runes carved into his armrest. "Hello, little Lucifer," Seraphal Leviathan sang, twirling into the room on a skateboard made of ice. Her pink Lolita dress clashed violently with the taxidermy hellhound mounted behind her. Today's lesson: why your ancestors were jerks. Naruto blinked. Aren't you one of the Satans? Why are you teaching? Because Sirzechs owes me favors, Tilda. She tossed glitter into the air, which morphed into a hologram of devils in togas stabbing each other. See, politics hasn't changed. Backstabby stabby yay. Naruto's truth-seeking wings drooped. Can't I just fight a Hydra instead? Seraphal's smile sharpened. Hydras are next week. Today, she snapped her fingers. The classroom dissolved into a war zone of floating demonic targets. Blow them up, but politely. Naruto sighed, forming a Rasengan. But when he infused it with hellfire, the spiral turned neon pink. The explosion vaporized the targets and Seraphal's ice skateboard. "Kaya, so cute," Seraphal squealed, cradling a chunk of smoldering pink rock. "Can I keep it?" "No," Naruto and Kurama said in unison. Practical magic was worse. Graphia stood in a chalk circle, arms crossed, as Naruto mangled a basic teleportation spell. "Focus," she droned. "Channel mana through your secondary heart." "I have 2 hearts." "3 actually," Graphia said, flicking a chalkboard eraser at his head. "Now focus." Naruto gritted his teeth. His chakra flared, mixing with demonic energy into an unstable vortex. Instead of teleporting, he accidentally summoned a crate of human-world ramen that exploded in a shower of noodles. Graphia pinched the bridge of her nose. That wasn't the lesson. "But it's progress," Naruto said, slurping a noodle off his shoulder. "Etiquette training was a war crime." "Humans shake hands," Graphia instructed dead-eyed, "not strangle them." Naruto glared at the devil noble dummy he just decapitated. "It winked at me." "And you will smile," Graphia continued, "even when they call you mongrel." "How about I smile while setting their tie on fire?" Kurama snorted. "I'll donate the matches." Graphia's ice sword materialized. Lesson 2: Diplomatic immunity doesn't cover arson. By dinner, Naruto had mastered 3 things. Summoning ramen from another dimension unintentionally. Making Seraphal squeal by turning Rasengans glittery. Reducing Graphia's lifespan by 10,000. As he slouched out of the academy, a tiny chakra signature pinged on his hellphone, a device Graphia had forced into his pocket. Kurama growled, "The human world's got a problem." Naruto grinned, "Finally, homework I want to do." Kyo reconnaissance. Kyo Town was weird, not giant snake summons in your ramen weird, but everything suspiciously peaceful weird. Naruto tugged at his borrowed school uniform, gray blazer, red tie, no orange, and scowled at the chirping birds. "This place feels like a postcard. What's the catch?" "Energy spike," Kurama growled, 2 blocks east, smells like burnt sugar and desperation. Naruto followed the scent to Kyo Academy's courtyard, where a gangly brown-haired kid, Issei, was getting shoved into a wall by jocks. "Come on, perv," one sneered. "Show us your magic phone pics again." "I deleted them," Issei yelped, clutching his bag. "Pathetic," Kurama muttered, but wait, his arm. A flicker of red light pulsed under Issei's sleeve. His eyes widened as a metallic gauntlet materialized, roaring to life with a mechanical boost. 1 punch later, the jock was airborne, crashing into a vending machine. Issei stared at his smoking fist. What the hell, this power? It felt alien yet familiar, like a forgotten memory. Naruto's truth-seeking wings itched to flare. "That gear's got Otsutsuki juice in it. Smell the static." Before Kurama could reply, Graphia's voice crackled through a hellphone earpiece. Status update, and stop glaring at civilians. Relax, I'm blending in, Naruto hissed, ducking behind a statue as Ise bolted. You're crouching behind a pigeon, move. Nightfall led Naruto to the academy's abandoned east wing, a crumbling relic overgrown with ivy. Inside, his hellphone's chakra tracker lit up like a disco ball. Bingo. The walls were carved with Otsutsuki symbols, crescent moons swallowing serpents dripping fresh black paint. But the kicker, a mural of Kaguya, her Byakugan eyes replaced with hellfire. Cult recruiting here, Kurama snarled, using the school as a damn billboard. Naruto snapped a photo just as footsteps echoed. He vanished in a swirl of hellfire, reappearing on the roof. Below, Ise wandered back, boosted gear glowing faintly as he inspected the mural. He's drawn to their energy, Kurama noted, gear reacting to the Otsutsuki crap. Peerage formation. The abandoned subway tunnel reeked of rust and bad decisions. Naruto ducked a cursed senjutsu dagger, its edge glowing with the same Otsutsuki rot he'd seen in hell. The attacker, a half-devil girl with Uzumaki red hair and a missing nin headband, snarled as her shadow clones dissolved into smoke. Back off, devil, she hissed, kunai sparking with chakra and hellfire. I don't need your irk. A cultist's chain wrapped around her throat, yanking her off her feet. Naruto moved. A Rasengan, half chakra, half demonic, shattered the chain. Relax, Spitfire, I'm freeloading here too. The girl gaped at his truth-seeking wings. You're Lucifer. Nah, I'm his stunt double. He kicked a cultist into a wall. You got a name. Mika, she muttered, igniting a fireball jutsu in one hand and demonic ice in the other. And I don't need saving. Cool combo, wanna not die now. End of Chapter 4. Start of Chapter 5. Summit Showdown. The Grand Hellfire Chamber looked like a goth church had a baby with a volcano. Crystal chandeliers dripped lava, and the walls were carved with scowling devil faces that tracked Naruto as he slouched into the room. 100 nobles in designer hellsuits glared, their whispers sharp enough to skin a cat. Let's make this quick, Naruto said, flopping onto the Lucifer throne. I've got a ramen coupon expiring in 20 minutes. Lord Belphegor, a traditionalist with a beard made of actual spiders, slammed his scepter. This farce ends today, a half-breed mongrel defiling our sacred lineage. The mantle of Lucifer is not a participation trophy. Naruto's truth-seeking wings twitched. Cool story, you gonna cry about it or fight? The chamber erupted. Belphegor's spiders hissed as he rose, his aura boiling the air. You want a demonstration of power? Let's see you wield hellfire without burning your... Naruto flicked a Rasen Shuriken into existence, but this one crackled with black flames, its edges fraying into screaming demonic faces. New move, call it the Hellstorm Shuriken. Catch. He tossed it. The nobles dove for cover as the spell detonated, shredding Belphegor's scepter into confetti and carving a canyon into the chamber floor. When the smoke cleared, the walls, cracked plaster revealed faded murals beneath, whirlpool symbols. Uzumaki seals. The hell, Naruto squinted. That's my clan's mark. Graphia materialized, tracing the symbols. These predate the Great War. It seems your ancestors advised ours. Belphegor, Spiderbeard singed, sputtered. Coincidence, human filth could never. Naruto ripped a chunk of wall off, revealing a massive Uzumaki spiral entwined with Lucifer's crest. Still wanna call me a tourist? The room fell silent. Sirzechs, lurking in the back, smirked into his hellwine. Checkmate, I believe. Naruto dusted off his hands. Ramen time, anyone wants seconds? He ignited another Hellstorm Shuriken. Form a line. The nobles scattered. Peerage training. The training field looked like a tornado had a one-night stand with a fireworks factory. Naruto stood atop a pile of smoldering debris, grinning at Ria's peerage. All right, losers, who's ready to stop sucking? Kiba adjusted his grip on his sword, already sweating. Demonic chakra infusion, right? Easy peasy, Naruto tossed him a truth-seeking feather. Stab this into your blade and don't die. Kiba hesitated, and if it explodes? Then you'll finally get a cool scar, do it. The moment the feather touched Kiba's sword, black and gold veins crawled up the steel. His blade hummed, slicing the air with a screech that left afterimages of screaming faces. Kiba nearly dropped it. What the hell is this? Hellfire Edge, Naruto said, dodging a wild slash. Now quit whining and hit something. Kiba lunged at a target dummy. The blade cleaved it in half and then kept going, carving a trench into the earth. Ria's facepalmed. We're rebuilding that. Akino's turn was sparklier. Lightning plus fallen angel magic equals boom, Naruto said, sketching a crude diagram in the dirt. Add chakra and I become a walking power grid, Akino smirked, her usual sadistic twinkle in full force. Now you'll be a rave. She summoned her lightning, golden and holy, then fused it with Naruto's demonic chakra. The result, purple-black bolts that crackled with the sound of grinding bones. Akino's eyes lit up. Oh, this is delicious. She vaporized a boulder, then side-eyed Naruto. Can I test it on you next? Hard pass, try the floating targets. The targets didn't stand a chance. Issei's disaster was inevitable. Sage mode about balance, Naruto yelled as Issei hyperventilated, trying to channel natural energy. You're not chugging a protein shake. I'm trying, Issei's boosted gear glowed red, sucking in energy like a vacuum. The ground quaked. Uh-oh, Kurama muttered. Issei's eyes flashed frog yellow, his muscles bulged, tailbone sprouting a stubby demonic tail. I feel amazing, oh god, I'm melting. He rocket punched a tree, which disintegrated, along with a fence, 2 benches, and part of Kyo Academy's roof. Naruto tackled him into a headlock. Stop hulking. Kaneko munching a cookie deadpanned, new record, 7 seconds to chaos. Riaz massaged her temples. Why did I agree to this? By sundown, the field was a war zone. But Kiba's sword gleamed with controlled hellfire, Akino's lightning had a wicked new edge, and Issei was duct-taped to a tree, mumbling about tailed frog mode. Naruto high-fived a traumatized training dummy. Progress. Reaside defined progress. Nobody died. And yet, Forbidden Archive break-in. The Forbidden Archive's security system was having a day. Laser-eyed gargoyles, melted, soul-sucking traps, tripped, walls that screamed obscenities in dead languages, graffitied with dick butts. Naruto smirked as he kicked open the final vault door. Devils need better hobby stores. Inside, the air tasted like static and bad decisions. Scrolls floated in cursed glass cases, and the ceiling swirled with a galaxy of trapped souls. Kurama growled, left shelf, that scroll reeks of Hagoromo's stench. Naruto yanked a dust-coated tome titled Ashura's Lineage, Reincarnation Cycle Maintenance. Inside, sketches of familiar faces stared back, a Hashirama lookalike tamming hellbeasts, a red-haired Uzumaki sealing rift demons. Creepy. Why's my family album in Satan's basement? Because your ancestors were busy, Kurama snorted. A kunai embedded itself in the shelf beside Naruto's head. Hand over the scroll, Lord Lucifer, sneered a figure in a torn Konoha flak jacket fused with devil armor. Shiro, his left eye a Byakugan, his right glowing hellfire red, cracked his knuckles. My clan was destroyed by the devils. The Otsutsuki promised me revenge, and this scroll is the key, or I'll mail your wings back to the pure world. Naruto grinned. You're like me, half devil, half disaster. Let's bond over mutual daddy issues. Shiro lunged, his chakra a nauseating mix of Rasengan sparks and demonic claws. Naruto blocked with a truth-seeking orb, the impact shattering nearby soul jars. The archive's alarms wailed as they traded blows, Shiro weaving shadow clones that bled acid, Naruto countering with hellstorm shurikens that left craters in reality itself. He's using Otsutsuki seals, Kurama barked as Shiro's fist grazed Naruto's ribs, leaving burns that sizzled with cursed energy. Notice that, Naruto ducked, snatching the Otsutsuki sealing scroll from its pedestal. This scroll doesn't just seal power, it maps the connections between dimensions, allowing the user to control the flow of energy between them. The moment his chakra touched it, the scroll screamed, its ink rearranging into a map of dimensional rifts. Shiro spat blood, his Byakugan spinning wildly. You've got no idea what you're holding, they're coming for it, and you're just the delivery boy. Naruto slammed a demon ball into the floor, the explosion hurling Shiro through 3 walls. Tell M I charge extra for house calls. As the archive collapsed, Kurama snarled, the scroll's a trap, it's got Indra's chakra signature too. Naruto tucked it into his jacket, sprinting past murals of Indra battling Ashura-winged devils. Add it to the therapy list. Move. They escaped as the vault imploded, the scroll burning like a lodestone against Naruto's chest. Somewhere, Shiro laughed in the rubble. End of Chapter 5. Start of Chapter 6. Containment Breach. The lower districts of Pandemonium were not having a good day. Buildings melted like wax under the heat of a nine-tailed monstrosity that was equal parts fox demon and dumpster fire. Kurama's fur blazed with black and crimson hellfire, his tails whipping through streets and turning demonic food carts into charcoal. Civilians dove into sulfur pits just to escape the chaos. Mine, Kurama roared, his voice warped into a chorus of snarls. A swipe of his claw sent a tower toppling, its spires crashing into a river of magma below. This realm, WILL burn. Naruto's consciousness flickered somewhere in the storm, shouting over the mental static. Kurama, snap out of it, you're barbecuing a orphanage back there. Can't stop. Kurama's thoughts were sludge, chakra, and hellfire merging into a toxic cocktail. His maw opened, charging a Baijudama that crackled with red lightning and reeked of burnt souls. Sirzechs Lucifer picked that moment to teleport in, looking like he'd been interrupted from a spa day. His pajamas were silk, his hair flawless, and his sigh could have powered a hurricane. Naruto, must you redecorate everywhere? Not my fault, Naruto's voice boomed from the demon fox's throat. He's got the wheel, I'm just screaming backup vocals. Sirzechs snapped his fingers. A scroll unfurled from thin air, glowing with golden seals that hummed like angelic karaoke. Heavenly Restriction Technique 666. Let's see if you can sit still. The seals lashed out like divine whips, wrapping around Kurama's throats. The hellfire dimmed, the Baijudama sputtering out. Kurama thrashed, howling as the bonds seared his chakra. Weak, you're all weak. Sirzechs yawned, tightening the seals. Yes, everyone's weak except you, original. With a final roar, Kurama collapsed, shrinking back into Naruto's battered body. The lower districts looked like a meteor had partied through it, craters smoking, bridges snapped, and a suspicious lack of anything not on fire. Sirzechs tossed Naruto a hellfire-proof ice pack. Next time, rage north, the nobles could use a scare. Graphia appeared, already tallying damages on a clipboard. The council will demand your head for this. Naruto spat ash, tell M to get in line, I've got a demon to therapize. Somewhere in the smoke, a civilian muttered, Lucifer's a Jinchuriki, hell's officially weird. Mindscape confrontation. Naruto's mindscape looked like a bad acid trip. The usual sewer water boiled into a lava river, and Kurama's cage had warped into a jagged throne of blackened bone. The fox himself loomed twice as large, his fur crackling with hellfire, eyes blazing red with slit-pupiled Byakugan. Chains of cursed Senjutsu bound him, but they were snapping one by one. You think you can tame me? Kurama's voice shook the mental plane, sulphurous wind blasting Naruto backward. I am not your pet, I am Lucifer's wrath. Naruto skidded across the molten rock, his soul form scorched. The hell you are, you're the grumpiest furball I know, snap out of it. Kurama's claw swiped, tearing a canyon into the mindscape. Fool, the mantle didn't choose you, it chose us. A shadowy figure peeled off Kurama's back, a horned silhouette with the fox's feral grin and Lucifer's smoldering crown. We were the first rebel, a being who defied the Otsutsuki long ago. To contain our power, the Otsutsuki trapped us within the Nine Tails, hoping to use its chakra to fuel their own ambitions. The Nine Tails was our cage. Naruto's stomach dropped. You're saying Kurama's been housing Lucifer's soul this whole time? The shadow laughed, its voice a distorted mashup of Kurama's growl and a fallen angel's choir. The fox was a prison, you, a downgrade. Kurama thrashed, chains shattering. Get out of my head. Not happening, Naruto lunged, dodging hellfire blasts. You're stuck with me, remember, partners. Partners don't lock you in a cage. You tried to eat my soul twice. The shadow lunged, merging with Kurama into a three-headed abomination. Naruto's soul flickered, nearly snuffed out by the pressure. Think idiot, he grabbed a severed chain, half chakra, half hellfire, and yanked. The mindscape froze. Kurama's monstrous form shuddered, one head snarling, the other howling in pain. Naruto gripped the chain tighter, its links burning his hands. You wanna be free? Fine, but we do it together, no more cage, no more devil timeshare crap. The abomination hesitated. The Lucifer shadow hissed, weakness. Kurama's central head roared, silence. He tore the shadow off his back and crushed it in his jaws. The mindscape quaked as the shadow dissolved into ash. Panting, Kurama's form shrank to his usual size mostly. His first aid streaked with hellfire and one eye glowed hellish crimson. "You're insufferable," he grumbled, voice still layered but his again. Naruto grinned, tossing the chain between them. "New deal, you wanna rage? We rage together, no backseat driving." Kurama snorted, swiping the chain. It morphed into a dual-ended tether, one loop around Naruto's wrist, one around Kurama's paw. "Try to keep up, deadlest." The mindscape stabilized, the lava cooling into a river of chakra and flickering hellfire. But the shadow's laugh echoed faintly. "You've only delayed the inevitable." Aftermath management. The council chamber smelled like burnt ego and regret. Naruto slouched in his throne, picking at the bandages on his hellfire-scorched arm while a dozen devil nobles in melted finery screamed at him. 37 blocks destroyed, screeched a duke whose horns were still smoking. "My summer villa is now a lava pit." "You're lucky I didn't hit the winter one," Naruto muttered. Graphia's ice dagger thunked into the armrest beside his hand. "Apologize now." "Sorry your villa sucked, I guess." Sirzechs, lounging in the shadows, choked on his hellwine. The council erupted. A baroness hurled a cursed scroll at Naruto. "Resign, or we'll vote you into the lowest hell pit." Naruto caught the scroll and tossed it to Graphia. "Add it to the whiny pile." Hybrid containment units were Ajuka's idea. The devil scientist stood in a lab that looked like a meth lab crossed with a shrine, holding a glowing orb that hummed with chakra and static. "This will stabilize rogue energy signatures, probably." Naruto poked it. The orb shrieked and birthed a mini tornado. "Probably." Ajuka shrugged. "Test it yourself." The first field test was lively. A rookie containment squad, half devil, half shinobi rejects, panicked when their chakra-dampening cuffs malfunctioned and turned a gremlin into a kaiju. Naruto ended up dropkicking the creature into a truth-seeking barrier which vaporized it. "This is your solution," Graphia hissed, dodging debris. "Hey, it's contained," Naruto gestured to the smoldering crater. "No more gremlin." The truth-seeking barrier system debuted at Pandemonium's gates. These seals, inherited from his Uzumaki ancestors, were designed to contain and redirect demonic energy, a skill honed over generations of battling interdimensional threats. Naruto slapped a hybrid seal onto the ground, and a dome of black and gold energy erupted, swallowing a pack of rogue hellhounds. The hounds bounced off the walls like ping-pong balls, yelping. "See," Naruto grinned, "demon-proof, fox-proof, council-proof." Sirzechs raised an eyebrow. "And if you lose control again?" Naruto tossed him a seal. "Then you get to babysit." Graphia sighed, watching the barrier shimmer. "It's reckless but efficient." "That's my middle name," Naruto said, ignoring the charred hellhound stuck to his boot. Somewhere in the rubble, a civilian muttered, "At least Lucifer's entertaining." End of Chapter 6. Start of Chapter 7. Binding Ritual. Ajuka's lab looked like a mad scientist's Pinterest board. Floating equations buzzed around Naruto's head while a dozen truth-seeking orbs hovered over a containment seal that smelled like burnt ozone and regret. "Hold still," Ajuka said, welding a chakra-infused scalpel to Naruto's forearm. "This might tickle." "Tickle? Ow, what the hell?" Naruto jerked as the scalpel sparked, fusing a truth-seeking orb into his skin. "Since when do you do surgery?" "Since your temper tantrums cost me 3 labs." Ajuka adjusted his goggles, unfazed. "Now, channel Kurama's chakra into the matrix, gently." Naruto gritted his teeth. The orb glowed, threads of black and gold energy weaving into a lattice over his arm. Kurama's growl echoed through the room. "This feels like a leash." "Call it a partnership bracelet," Naruto shot back. "You get a say, I don't go full barbecue mode. Win-win." Ajuka tapped a screen and the matrix flared. "Test Phase 1, summon a tail." Naruto focused. A single tail of hellfire erupted, controlled, steady. Phase 2, Rasengan. The spiral formed, crimson and stable. Phase 3, don't destroy my. Too late, Kurama's laughter boomed as the orb overloaded, vaporizing Ajuka's desk. "Boring, let's see real power." Naruto wrestled the energy back, sweat dripping. "Knock it off, you want to get locked in a worse cage." The room shook. Kurama's snarl faded to a grumble. Fine, but I want veto power on targets. Deal: no torching ramen shops. Negotiable. Ajuka studied the smoking remains of his desk. Success, mostly. He tossed Naruto a gauntlet studded with orbs. Wear this, it'll explode if he rebels. Naruto blinked. You just said it was safe. I said success, different metrics. Kurama's chuckle rumbled. Welcome to the leash, brat. Faction realignment. The underworld's political scene had all the subtlety of a grenade in a teacup. Naruto stared at the crowd of bickering nobles in the council chamber, half of them waving Lucifer equals fail signs, the other half sporting don't blame me, I voted for chaos pins. So, Naruto muttered to Grafia, the Kick Lucifer Out Club got a splinter group. Pro-Lucifer traditionalists, Grafia corrected, ice dagger poised to stab anyone who stepped too close. They fear the Otsutsuki more than they hate you, a low bar. A baron with a monocle and a death wish stood up. At least the old Lucifer didn't cosplay as a natural disaster. Yeah, well, the old Lucifer didn't have to babysit you either, Naruto shot back, tossing a truth-seeking orb like a stress ball. The pro-Lucifer faction, 5 whole people clapped. Later, in a wine cellar that reeked of paranoia, Ria's brother Milikas slid Naruto a hellphone disguised as a cursed grapefruit. Aunt Venelana says to use this. Encrypted, don't let Grafia find it. Naruto squinted at the fruit. Does it make smoothies too? It makes alliances, Milikas said, deadpan. My family's done cleaning up the old guard's messes. We're betting on unconventional assets. He eyed Naruto's still smoldering gauntlet. Try not to blow up the world before we formalize this. No promises. The leak to Grigori was an accident even Ajuka couldn't explain. 1 minute, Otsutsuki scrolls were locked in a vault. The next, Azazel, Grigori's fallen angel boss, was texting Naruto memes of Kaguya with devil horns. Cute cult you got there, wanna trade intel, eh? Grafia stormed into Naruto's throne room, holding a dossier stamped top secret in glitter. You gave the fallen angels our files. Nah, they took M. Naruto scrolled through Azazel's latest message. Meet me at Hell Starbucks. I'll bring holy water, JK lol. Sirzechs smirked, sipping hellwine. Azazel's a pest, but he's our pest now, and he hates alien god wannabes more than we do. Kurama's laugh rumbled. This'll end in fire. Everything does, Naruto said, texting back. You buyin' the coffee. Hybrid experimentation. Ajuka's latest lab looked like a cross between a ninja armory and a devil rave. Shelves of glowing evil pieces buzzed next to scrolls leaking chakra, and the air smelled like burnt sage and bad decisions. Naruto poked a floating orb labeled Tailed Gear Prototype 69 with a stick. This thing's gonna turn devils into super soldiers. If it doesn't melt their bones, Ajuka said, welding a truth-seeking orb into a pawn piece. Volunteers. A squad of half-devil recruits shuffled forward. One, a wiry teen with horns sawed off, family drama, he muttered, stepped up. Ajuka slammed the hybrid piece into his chest. The kid's eyes lit up gold, his claws crackling with Rasengan sparks. Feels like lightning and cocaine, he screamed, punching a hole through a steel dummy. Naruto grinned, sold. The first deployment was against a pack of rogue hellspawn toads, acid-spitting, SUV-sized nightmares that had overrun a sulfur farm. The hybrid squad moved like a blender on steroids. One soldier cloaked in chakra mist backflipped over a toad, shredding it with hellfire kunai. Another trapped 3 in a ceiling tag that screamed bingo before exploding. Naruto watched from a cliff crunching hellfire popcorn. They're like mini-me's, but with dental plans. Kurama scoffed, they'll crumble under real pressure. As if on cue, the ground split. A toad the size of a mall erupted, its tongue lashing out to wrap around a hybrid soldier. Before Naruto could move, the soldier's eyes flashed red. His arm morphed into a clawed, chakra-fueled wrecking ball that punched through the toad's skull. Okay, Naruto said, dropping his popcorn, that's new. Post-mission checkup revealed the unexpected mutation. The soldier, now codenamed Berserker 1, had veins glowing like lava and a third eye blinking on his forehead. Ajuka scribbled notes furiously. Fascinating. The Chakra Devil fusion is rewriting his biology. He's developing organs. This process is incredibly unstable and could lead to unpredictable mutations or even complete cellular collapse. Organs, Naruto leaned in, like a kidney, like a chakra core and possibly gills. The soldier burped a smoke ring. I can taste colors now. Graphia pinched her nose. This is a disaster. Now, Naruto said, tossing the soldier a Hellfire energy drink. It's innovation. As they left, Berserker One's third eye swiveled to watch them, its pupil slit like a cat's. Kurama growled, this'll bite you in the tail. Everything does, Naruto said, but hey, imagine the merch potential, tailed Gear TM hats. Somewhere, a hidden lab's alarms blared as Indra's soul fragment, a piece of the legendary shinobi's consciousness, preserved by the Otsutsuki for unknown purposes, stirred in its containment tube. End of Chapter 7. Start of Chapter 8. Dual Sovereignty Ceremony. The throne room smelled like burnt incense and desperation. Naruto stood at the center of a ritual circle that glowed like a radioactive donut, wearing a crown that looked like it was made from Satan's old lawnmower blades. The traditionalist faction scowled from the sidelines, while the pro-Lucifer crew, now sporting Team Hellstorm merch, whooped like they were at a monster truck rally. Do you, Naruto Uzumaki, vow to uphold the dignity of the Lucifer lineage? Graphia asked, sounding like she was reading a eulogy. Sure, can I take this thing off now? It's stabbing my skull. Naruto adjusted the spiked crown, which immediately tilted sideways. Sirzechs stifled a laugh. Not until you demonstrate controlled power, the people need a show. Fine, but if I blow up the ceiling, it's your insurance. Naruto cracked his neck. Ninetales Satan mode erupted, crimson chakra cloaked in black hellfire, his truth-seeking wings now streamlined into jagged blades. The room shook, but the lava moat stayed intact. No explosions, no collateral damage, just raw, terrifying control. The crowd gasped, even Graphia blinked. This, Naruto said, his voice layered with Kurama's growl and Lucifer's echo, is what happens when you stop whining and work together. He extinguished the aura with a flick, leaving only the smell of sulfur and a very impressed Ajuka taking notes. The hybrid Senate Council was a circus of grudging cooperation. A Uzumaki elder in moth-eaten robes sat next to a devil duke with a pet hellhound. A Kunoichi from Kurosawa's squad argued with a traditionalist Baron over who got to use the phrase strategic incineration. This'll never work, Graphia muttered, watching as Shinobi accidentally set a scroll on fire with demonic mana. Throw M at a common enemy, they'll bond, Naruto said, snagging a hellfire kebab from a floating tray. Worked for me and Kurama. We tried to kill each other for years, Kurama reminded him. And look at us now, practically married. The council's first unanimous vote banned Naruto from making speeches. As the ceremony ended, Sirzechs clapped Naruto's shoulder. You've made chaos legitimate, a first. Naruto tossed the crown into a lava pit. Just wait, next up, interdimensional laser tag. Somewhere in the void, Madara's soul stirred, and Indra's reincarnation chart flickered with new names. Multiverse Outpost. The dimensional void wasn't a place, it was a vibe. A swirling chaos of neon storms, floating debris, and the occasional screaming ghost ship that Naruto swore was just Ajuka's drones messing with him. The forward base, Outpost Alpha, looked like someone had welded a spaceship to a feudal castle and then spray-painted Welcome to Hell on the airlock. This is the worst timeshare, Naruto grumbled, kicking a glitching hologram projector. It flickered to life, blasting Never Gonna Give You Up at max volume. Kurosawa, now rocking an ANBU mask with devil horns, tossed him a wrench. Complaint Department, in Sector 3, it's a black hole, literally. The ANBU Devil Recon teams were adjusting. One agent tried to blend into a shadow, only to sneeze hellfire and light a floating asteroid on fire. Another cursed as her hybrid kunai turned a rogue dimension hopper into a confused chicken. This is stealth, Kurosawa hissed, watching the chicken cluck into a portal. Stealth adjacent, Naruto said, shrugging. At least it's not boring. First contact went about as smoothly as a chainsaw ballet. The Bleach refugees, a ragtag group of soul reapers and one very done with this Quincy, materialized in the mess hall during taco night. What, their captain hissed, eyeing the devil shinobi hybrids, is this abomination of energy? Naruto slid a tray of Hellfire nachos across the table. Chill, straw hat, it's just chakra with extra steps, try the guac. The Quincy, clutching a glowing bow, gagged on a nacho. This tastes like despair. That's the cilantro, Kurosawa said, scribbling notes. So hollows, giant soul-eating monsters, cute. We've got Otsutsuki cultists who turn people into sentient origami, way weirder. The Soul Reaper captain's eye twitched. We need asylum, our universe is collapsing. A force is consuming the boundaries between worlds, leaving only chaos and destruction in its wake. Naruto paused, a truth-seeking orb spinning on his finger. Collapsing how? Something eating the barriers between worlds, it looks like eyes. Kurama's growl rattled Naruto's ribs. Kaguya's family's got a bigger appetite than I thought. The base alarms blared, a portal ripped open, spewing fractal-glitched creatures that screeched like dial-up modems. Asylum granted, Naruto yelled, slamming a Rasengan into the first monster. Welcome to the party. Legacy Revelations. The Uzumaki clan's secret vault turned out to be a glorified broom closet under Hell's worst ramen stand. Naruto kicked open the door, releasing a cloud of dust and a family of demonic rats wearing tiny Whirlpool Village headbands. Inside, scrolls yellowed by millennia of grease stains detailed contracts between Uzumaki priests and devil lords. In exchange for power over life and death, we pledge fealty to, Naruto squinted at the cursed calligraphy. Payman, Duke of Chaos, seriously, Grandpa was out here making deals with dealist devils. Kurama snorted, pawing at a mural of Ashura battling a nine-tailed Lucifer. Explains why you're so good at pissing off royalty. The mural shifted, revealing hidden text. Ashura's reincarnation cycle failed. Naruto's grin faded. Dozens of names crossed out, Uzumaki ancestors who'd tried and failed to break the cycle. The last entry, Naruto Uzumaki. Failed, huh? Naruto traced his own name. Guess I'm the first to wing it with a devil timeshare. They tried to control fate, Kurama muttered, hellfire flickering in his fur. The Ashura cycle was meant to bring balance, but it became a tool for the Otsutsuki to manipulate history. You ignored it, that's new. Later, atop Outpost Alpha's glitching observation deck, Kurama's crimson form shimmered in the void's neon haze. I'm not the fox, not the devil, just this. He flexed a clawed paw, chakra and hellfire entwined. And you're not Ashura, not Lucifer, just you. Naruto smirked, tossing a truth-seeking orb like a baseball. Kinda took you long enough to figure that out. Quiet Deadlast, Kurama's growl lacked its usual venom. But this, it's ours, not Hagoromo's, not Lucifer, ours. Damn right, Naruto fist-bumped the orb, igniting a hybrid Rasengan that lit up the void. Now let's go break more cycles. The orb shot into the abyss, detonating into a supernova of gold and black. Somewhere, Madara's soul fragment hissed in the shadows and Ashura's ghostly echo laughed. End of Chapter 8. Start of Chapter 9. Human Disguise. Naruto stared at his reflection in the mirror, dying a little inside. The disguise was painfully normal, messy blonde hair, but slightly less spiky, a cute academy uniform that felt like a straitjacket, and a name tag that read Naru Uzumaki in aggressively bland font. You look like a background character in a bad anime, Kurama snickered. Shut up, Naruto muttered, adjusting his non-prescription glasses. Graphia said I need to blend in. Blend in where? Attack's office. Hugh Academy's gates loomed ahead, swarming with teenagers texting and gossiping. Naruto's eye twitched as a girl squealed, oh my gosh, the occult club president is so hot. This is worse than the 4th Shinobi War, he grumbled, slouching into Class 2B. Enrollment chaos. Issei Hyodu's head snapped up the moment Naruto walked in. Whoa, new guy, you into pervy games or just here to ruin my vibe? Naruto slid into the desk beside him, channeling every ounce of his willpower to not set the chair on fire. Just here to, study, normal stuff. Normal, Issei leaned in, grinning like a shark. Dude, you've got secret government experiment written all over you, let's hang. Before Naruto could respond, the classroom door swung open. Ria's Gremory strode in, her presence vacuuming all the oxygen from the room. Her gaze lingered on Naruto a beat too long, crimson eyes narrowing. New student, she purred, leaning on his desk. Her perfume smelled like roses and pure danger. You don't seem nervous. Most boys stutter around me. Naruto forced a grin, shoving down his hellfire chakra. Yeah, well, I'm not most boys. Ria's smile sharpened. Interesting, join the occult club later, we'll chat. As she walked away, Kurama growled, she knows. She suspects, Naruto corrected, watching Issei scribble OCULT club equals best club on his notebook, which is worse. Dimensional forensics. The old Q Academy building looked like a zombie's summer home. Vines choked the walls, shattered windows whistled like ghostly flutes, and the air tasted like someone had microwaved a battery. Naruto crouched in the rubble, fiddling with a device that looked like a Game Boy crossed with a cursed toaster. Ajuka's scanner working, Kurama grumbled. Define working, Naruto said, smacking the side of the gadget. It beeped erratically, projecting holograms of glowing Otsutsuki symbols mixed with devil runes. It's saying the portal residue here is spicy. The scanner suddenly screeched, flashing CORRUPTED chakra DETCTED, 99.9% pure BS. Naruto's nose wrinkled. Smells like Kaguya's perfume, cheap and deadly. A shadow fell over him. Azazel, Grigori's fallen angel boss, leaned against a crumbling pillar, snacking on Hellfire Cheetos. Yo, Lucifer, heard you're slumming it as a high schooler now. Midlife crisis? Naruto tossed a pebble at him. You're one to talk. Why's your hair look like a seagull attacked a paint store? Style, kid, you know if you had any. Azazel crouched, tossing Naruto a USB drive shaped like a tiny coffin. Decrypted some cultist files. They've been using this dump as a charging station for interdimensional jewel pods. The scanner lit up, leading them to a hidden basement floor plastered in murals of Kaguya devouring planets. At the center sat an artifact, a twisted metal orb oozing black sludge and humming with corrupted chakra. Azazel whistled, that's not good. Understatement, Naruto said, poking the orb with a truth-seeking staff. It shrieked, vomiting a hologram of a fractured dimension. This thing's a roadmap. The cult's targeting ley lines, cute sitting on a cosmic freeway. Azazel snapped a selfie with the orb. Cool, so we're either saving the world or getting ice-guyed. Place your bets. As they hauled the artifact out, Naruto's phone buzzed. A text from Issei. OCULT club meeting now. Bring SNACKS. Kurama groaned. Priorities, brat. Peerage tension. The occult club's training session was a disaster in the making. Ria's peerage lounged in the old gym, Kiba polishing his sword with aggressive focus, Akino sipping tea like it was liquid mischief, and Issei bench-pressing a dumbbell labeled Property of God PLZ Return. Naruto, still disguised as Naru, slumped against a wall, praying Kurama wouldn't pick now to start a monologue. Kiba's head snapped up, eyes narrowing. You, he pointed his sword at Naruto, you've got the stench of someone who's seen combat, real combat. Naruto raised his hands, playing clueless. I did kendo camp once, got a participation trophy. Liar, Kiba's blade hummed inches from Naruto's throat. Your stance, your reflexes, you're hiding something. Slice him, Kurama urged. I'll regrow your trachea. Ria's cleared her throat. Kiba, play nice. The knight lowered his sword, but his glare screamed, I'm watching you. Akino appeared beside Naruto like a vengeful ghost, her smile saccharine. Nukun Tilda, let me read your fortune. Before he could protest, she grabbed his hand. Her smile froze. Oh my, your energy is spicy, almost demonic. Naruto yanked his hand back, laughing awkwardly. All natural aura, I eat a lot of garlic. Garlic, Akino's lightning crackled faintly. How quaint. Issei bounded over, boosted gear glowing. Whoa Naru, you into occult stuff too, let's spar. No, Naruto started, but Issei's fist was already flying. Instinct kicked in, a truth-seeking orb materialized in Naruto's palm, deflecting the punch. The boosted gear exploded with light, its voice blaring, divine diving DETCTED, error, error. Issei's arm cannon morphed into a confused tangle of gears and sparks. Why does this keep happening? Ria's eyes locked onto Naruto's fatting orb. Interesting. Kurama groaned, we're so busted. End of Chapter 9. Start of Chapter 10. Temple excavation. The hidden chamber beneath Q Academy looked like a cross between a cathedral and a spaceship crash site. Glowing blue stones pulsed in geometric patterns on the walls, casting shadows that moved when you weren't looking. Naruto kicked aside a pile of rubble, revealing a massive Otsutsuki crest carved into the floor. Jackpot, he muttered, tossing a pebble onto the symbol. It vaporized with a fizz. Yep, definitely a stay-out sign. Ria's peerage and a squad of ANBU devils crowded behind him. Kiba's sword crackled with unstable demonic chakra. This place reeks of rotten power, let's torch it. Hold your hell horses, Naruto said, squatting to examine a stone pillar covered in glowing karma marks. These anchor stones are juicing up the dimensional walls. Break M and Q becomes an interdimensional Slurpee. Issei poked a floating orb of light, so we're not smashing stuff. The orb hissed, morphing into a karma construct, a six-armed statue with Byakugan eyes and a halo of cursed senjutsu. Then another, then 12 more. Now we smash, Naruto yelled, yanking Issei back as a construct's fist cratered the floor where he'd stood. The fight was chaos with a side of identity crisis. Kiba's demon-charged sword clashed against a construct's arm, shearing it off in a spray of black sparks. Akino, light him up. Akino's hybrid lightning, half holy, half hellfire, arced across the room, frying two constructs. This is fun, can we keep one? Naruto ducked a laser beam from a construct's third eye. ANBU squad, SEAL Formation Delta. The hybrid Shinobi Devil team moved like a demonic boy band. One agent slapped a paralysis tag on a construct. Another teleported in with a truth-seeking kunai to shatter its core. Ria's peerage stared, equal parts impressed and horrified. Since when do we have formation names? Kiba shouted, impaling a construct. Since I got bored, Naruto lobbed a Rasengan infused with hellfire into a cluster of statues, reducing them to ash. Call it teamwork with flair. As the last construct crumbled, the anchor stones flared. A hologram of a star map flickered above the Otsutsuki crest, pinpointing a fracture in the dimensional void. Momoshiki's vacation home, Azazel said, snapping a photo with his hellphone. Dibs on the pool. Rias frowned at the map. This temple wasn't just anchoring dimensions, it was calling something. Naruto kicked a stone, sending it skidding into the shadows. Yeah, and I've got a feeling RSVP's coming soon. Somewhere in the void, a pair of golden eyes snapped open. Social dynamics. The study session was code for let's see how much Issei can break. Naruto, still disguised as Naru, slouched in Issei's bedroom, surrounded by textbooks titled Advanced Math for Dummies Who Like Explosions. Issei stared at a trigonometry problem like it had personally offended him. Why do I need to know triangles? I've got two sacred gears. He jabbed his pencil so hard it snapped. Naruto tossed him a new one. Focus, dude, math's like chakra control for your brain. Here, he tapped the paper, accidentally channeling a sliver of chakra. The numbers glowed gold. Issei's eyes widened. Whoa, did you just magic my homework? Metaphorically. Issei's boosted gear suddenly flared, copying the chakra glow. The pencil levitated, sketching perfect equations. Boosted brain power, it chirped. Naruto facepalmed. Kurama, are you seeing this? The idiot's a natural chakra sponge, explains why he's alive. Kaniko's resistance became obvious during the temple cleanup. A cursed Otsutsuki mirror in the chamber pulsed with mind-numbing energy, leaving the peerage clutching their heads except Kaniko. She munched a cookie, unfazed. Kaniko, Rias rubbed her temples. How are you? Tastes like static, Kaniko said, poking the mirror. Nya, weak. Azazel scanned her with a gadget that beeped angrily. Her Nekomata genes are rejecting the Otsutsuki influence, like spiritual allergies. Kiba groaned. Of course the cat's immune. Kaniko flicked a crumb at him. Swords are loud, silence is better. Ria's suspicion peaked that night. She cornered Naru in the clubroom, her smile sharper than Kiba's sword. You handled those temple constructs like a pro, odd for a transfer student. Naruto scratched his neck, laughing nervously. YouTube tutorials. And the chakra glow during Issei's math breakthrough. Lead pencils, super trendy in. Rias leaned in, her breath warm and dangerous. I've met Lucifer, he's got the same spark in his eyes. The door burst open, Issei yelling, Naru, my toaster's on fire again, saving Naruto from answering. As he fled, Riaz whispered to Aquino, dig deeper. Lucifer doesn't hide this well. Alliance formation. The neutral meeting ground was a dive bar in the dimensional void where the stools were bolted to the ceiling and the bartender had 3 eyes and a grudge. Cockabeel's faction, a gaggle of zealots in blood-stained robes, slouched in a corner, glaring at Naruto's crew like they'd just canceled the apocalypse. Cockabeel himself looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. Lucifer, or should I say Naru Uzumaki, he flicked a photo of Naruto's terrible school ID onto the table. Cute glasses. Naruto kicked his feet up on the table, ignoring the dagger one of Cockabeel's goons stabbed into the wood beside his shoe. Let's skip the small talk. You've got cultist intel. We've got a dimensional god problem. Temporary truce? Cockabeel's eye twitched. You're asking me for help. Nah, I'm telling you to pick a side before Momoshiki turns your fan club into a chew toy. Naruto slid a folder across the table, images of the Otsutsuki Temple's star map, Kyoto's ley lines, and Momoshiki's smug face etched into a crumbling dimension. The zealot leader palmed a truth-seeking orb Naruto had accidentally left on the table. Fine, but when this blows up, I'm framing you. Intel exchange was a disaster. Cockabeel's data was scribbled on napkins in dead languages. Azazel squinted at one. This says, beware the grape juice in ancient Enochian. It's metaphorical, snapped a zealot. For what divine wine coolers? Meanwhile, Kiba and Cockabeel's head enforcer, a silent brute named Magog, bonded over their mutual hatred of everything. Your sword's unbalanced, Magog grunted, sharpening a cleaver. Your face is unbalanced, Kiba shot back. Reaside, this is going great. The joint research team was a circus. Cockabeel's cultists, Grigori scientists, and ANBU devils crowded into a lab that kept changing time zones. The first breakthrough, a karma-powered sacred gear prototype that turned into a toaster. It burns dimensions onto bread, a Grigori engineer cheered, holding up a slice branded with Otsutsuki runes. Naruto nibbled the edge, tastes like betrayal and raisins. As the teams argued, Azazel pulled Naruto aside. Your Chakra Devil cocktail's the only thing keeping this mess together. Why? Naruto watched Issei accidentally boost a coffee machine into sentience. Because Momoshiki's gonna hit harder than a ramen shortage. We need crazy to fight crazy. As the truce dissolved, literally, Cockabeel's portal closed mid-insult. Kurama mused, this alliance'll last as long as an ice cube in hell. Then let's move fast, Naruto said, pocketing a cultist's notes that read Momoshiki's arrival, Tuesday. Somewhere, a grape juice-shaped void began to bubble. End of Chapter 10. Start of Chapter 11. Identity Crisis. Riaz cornered Naru in the occult club's storage closet, her smile sharper than a kunai. Let's skip the lies, your energy spikes match Lucifer, down to the hellfire stench. She tossed a glowing report on the floor, charts tracking Naruto's chakra signatures during math class. Explosions in trigonometry, really. Naruto leaned against a stack of cursed Ouija boards, laughing nervously. Okay, fine, I'm a devil influencer, hellfire hacks. The ground shook, a muffled boom rattled the walls. Artifact breach, Kiba's voice echoed down the hall, the Otsutsuki orb going nuclear. Riaz grabbed Naruto's arm, help or I swear. Yeah, you'll expose me. Naruto yanked free, hellfire already flickering in his palms. Kurama. About time, the fox growled. The artifact, a pulsating black orb, had turned the gym into a dimensional blender. Issei was using his boosted gear to play dodgeball with chunks of the ceiling while Aquino fried debris with lightning. Stand back, Naruto's disguise melted in a swirl of hellfire, truth-seeking wings shredding his uniform. He slammed a hand on the orb, his Lucifer mantle flaring crimson. Seal. The orb fought back, spewing karma tendrils that lashed at his arms. Riaz gaped. You're busy, Naruto gritted out. Aquino lightning, Kiba sword now. Aquino's holy hellfire hybrid strike hit the orb at the same time Kiba's demon-charged blade stabbed into it. Naruto's seal flared, crushing the artifact into a smoking marble. Panting, he turned to Riaz, Kiba, and Aquino, the only witnesses. Okay, fine, I'm Lucifer, but if you call me Lord or Your Majesty, I'm deleting your Netflix accounts. Kiba's sword clattered to the floor. You train wreck. Riaz crossed her arms, smirking. You owe me answers and a real sparring match. Kurama snorted, told you she'd be into it. Temple Showdown. The awakened Karma Guardian looked like a cross between a stone golem and an Otsutsuki fanboy, glowing Byakugan eyes, 6 arms wielding jagged black receivers and a halo of crackling karma energy. It slammed a fist into the ground, sending shockwaves that nearly toppled Kaneko into a pit of bubbling chakra. Aim for the core, Riaz yelled, hurling a destruction orb that fizzled against the Guardian's chest. It's regenerating too fast. Kiba's demon-charged sword screeched as it deflected a black receiver. We need bigger firepower. Working on it, Issei ducked a swipe, his boosted gear glowing erratically. Boost, why isn't it? Naruto landed beside him, hellfire wings scattering debris. You're thinking too small, Issei. Chakra's not in the gear, it's you. He flicked a truth-seeking orb at Issei's chest. Channel it. Issei stared as the orb dissolved into his gear. The red armor flared gold, new runes burning across its surface. Chakra balance breaker, ascended dragon, the gear reshaped into sleek, winged armor, a Rasengan-like orb humming in his palm. Whoa, I'm glowing. Less yapping, more smashing, Naruto tossed him toward the Guardian. Issei's new gear blinked him behind the monster. Dragon, Rasengan, the attack hit like a supernova, cratering the Guardian's back. Now Naruto, Riaz shouted. Naruto's truth-seeking orbs shot out, pinning the Guardian's limbs like cosmic thumbtacks. Akino, lightning, Kiba, sever its core. Akino's hybrid strike and Kiba's blade struck in unison. The Guardian roared as Naruto slammed the final orb into its chest, triggering a sealing matrix that lit the temple like a disco inferno. As the Guardian crumbled, Issei's gear reverted, leaving him panting but grinning. Did I just fusion dance with chakra? Call it beginner's luck, Naruto said, ruffling his hair. Riaz eyed the sealed rubble. This was just a Guardian, what's next? Above them, the temple's star map flickered, zooming in on a fissure where shadowy figures gathered. Momoshiki Scouts. Aftermath decisions. Q Academy's roof now hosted a monitoring station that looked like a tech nerd's fever dream. Floating holograms tracked dimensional energy spikes, ANBU devils argued over ramen-flavored coffee, and Azazel had somehow installed a hot tub labeled for multiversal diplomacy only. Naruto kicked a stray wire. This feels like overkill. Graphia scanned a report. You blew up a temple, exposed your identity, and almost got Issei ice-guyed. Overkill is required. Riaz leaned over a hologram showing Momoshiki's scouts. We need eyes everywhere, starting with you training my peerage. Naruto groaned, I'm a king, not a babysitter. Too late, Issei popped up, his boosted gear already sparking with unstable chakra. When do we learn the giant Rasengan? When you stop setting the gym on fire, Kiba muttered, polishing his newly chakra-scorched sword. Kaneko nibbled a cookie, unfazed by the chaos. Training snacks mandatory. Interdimensional alliance proposal came via a glitter bomb. Azazel's hologram materialized over the hot tub, wearing swim trunks and holding a margarita. All right, chuckleheads, time to team up before we're all cosmic roadkill. Naruto tossed a stress ball at the hologram. Speak English, not beach party. Fine, Azazel's grin turned sharp. Grigori's got outposts in 12 dimensions. You've got Chakra Devil juicers. Let's merge tech, share intel, and throw Momoshiki a welcome party he'll regret. Riaz raised an eyebrow, and the catch. You let me scan your peerage's fancy new powers, for science. Naruto flopped into the hot tub, truth-seeking orbs floating like pool toys. Deal, but if you turn Issei into a toaster again, I'm revoking your snack privileges. As the sun set, Naruto stared at Kyo's skyline, now dotted with invisible sensors and ANBU spies. This'll get messy, Kurama warned. Since when don't we clean up? Naruto smirked, watching Issei accidentally boost a vending machine into orbit. Somewhere in the void, Momoshiki's scouts adjusted their course. End of Chapter 11. Start of Chapter 12. Hybrid Training. The training field looked like a war zone decorated by a pyromaniac. Craters smoked from Issei's latest failed attempt to fuse chakra with his boosted gear, and Naruto was pretty sure one of the trees was now growing upside down. Focus, Issei, Naruto yelled, ducking a stray energy blast that vaporized a boulder. Chakra's not a button, it's a flow. Issei's gear sputtered, coughing black smoke. I'm trying, it's like patting my head and rubbing my stomach while on fire. Then stop whining and burn brighter. Naruto lobbed a truth-seeking orb at him. Catch. Issei fumbled the orb, but it dissolved into his gear like sugar in coffee. The red armor flickered, then exploded into glowing orange plates etched with black swirls. A draconic helmet snapped over his face, and two truth-seeking orbs materialized like floating pauldrons. Boosted Sage Dragon King mode, Issei's voice echoed with a deeper, almost feral growl. He stared at his clawed gauntlets. I look like a Power Ranger. Naruto smirked. What now? Issei lunged faster than before and punched a crater into the ground with a shockwave of orange chakra. The impact left a spiral pattern eerily similar to a Rasengan. Whoa, I'm awesome. You're unstable, Naruto corrected, deflecting Issei's next strike with a hellfire-coated arm. But hey, progress. Later, as Issei panted in the wreckage of his own making, Naruto tossed him a water bottle. Not bad for a rookie, took me years to blow up a mountain. Issei's gear retracted, leaving his clothes singed but intact. How'd you even get this power? You're not just some devil, right? Naruto's grin faltered. He flicked a truth-seeking orb between his fingers like a coin. Let's just say I've got complicated family drama. The Lucifer gig, it's a side hustle. Kurama snorted in his mind. Understatement of the century. Issei leaned in, eyes gleaming. So like you're part Demon King, part Space Ninja. Sure, let's go with that. Naruto stood, dusting off his pants. Just don't go blabbing. Last thing I need is more fan clubs. As they walked back, the truth-seeking orbs on Issei's discarded armor pulsed faintly, their energy echoing a distant, hungry presence in the void. End of Chapter 12. Start of Chapter 13. Power Surge Crisis. Hugh's downtown looked like a toddler's tantrum had gone nuclear. Streetlights bent like licorice sticks, cars floated upside down in chakra bubbles, and a stray energy blast had turned the town clock tower into a giant sundae of molten metal. At the center of it all, Issei writhed in midair, his boosted sage armor crackling like a broken power line as orange chakra geysered out of him. Can't stop, Issei's voice boomed, half-human, half-dragon static. A wild swing of his arm sheared the roof off a convenience store. Naruto ducked a flying vending machine. Riaz, we need to ground him before he turns the mall into a crater. Riaz hurled a destruction orb at the chakra geyser, barely denting it. How? He's your student. Yeah, and you're the one with the peerage bond thing. Naruto launched a truth-seeking orb to deflect a chunk of debris from smashing a bus stop. Channel your mom friend energy. Mom friend? Riaz's eye twitched, but she grabbed Kiba's sword and sliced her palm. Issei, listen to my voice. Blood dripped into a magic circle that flared crimson. The boosted gear stuttered, its glow dimming. Issei's eyes flickered with panic. President hurts. I know, Riaz said softer now. Let us help. Naruto seized the opening. Kurama, barrier time. Truth-seeking orbs shot from his wings, forming a lattice of black and gold energy around Issei. The unstable chakra recoiled, slamming against the barrier like a caged animal. Issei, focus, Naruto yelled, veins bulging as he strained to hold the seal. You wanna be a hero, act like one. With a scream that shook the streetlights, Issei wrenched control back. The armor dissolved, dropping him into Riaz's arms as the barrier collapsed. The town fell silent, save for the drip of a broken fountain and Issei's shaky whisper, "Did I fusion the RB?" Naruto flopped onto the pavement, wings smoking. Welp, there goes your allowance. Faction Summit. The summit hall looked like a supernatural UN meeting hosted by a pyromaniac. Angels hovered on glowing platforms, devils lounged in obsidian thrones, and Azazel had commandeered the speaker's podium to project a hologram of Momoshicky's face with the caption, Interdimensional Karen, wants to speak to Hell's manager. Sirzechs cleared his throat, silencing the room. Let's skip the theatrics, Azazel show them. Azazel smirked, swapping the meme for a holographic star map. Red dots pulsed Otsutsuki activity in every major dimension. They're not just invading, they're farming, harvesting chakra, cloning Biju, and he zoomed in on a fractured dimension, testing this. The screen showed a lab with vats of corrupted Biju chakra and a familiar Uchiha fan symbol. Madara's crest, Riaz muttered. Bingo, Azazel said, they're recycling dead legends into chew toys. Fun, right? A traditionalist devil lord shot to his feet, his horns nearly knocking over a seraphim. This is your fault, Lucifer. Your hybrid experiments drew them here. Naruto, slouching in Lucifer's throne, tossed a truth-seeking orb like a stress ball. Cool story. You wanna fight interdimensional gods with sparklers instead. The vote. The hall erupted, angels argued divine mandates, devils shouted about sovereignty, and Azazel's hologram started playing Why Can't We Be Friends on loop. Sirzechs slammed his fist, cracking the podium. Enough, all in favor of a hybrid tech moratorium. Hands rose, mostly angels and old guard devils. Opposed. Naruto, Azazel, and Ria's faction raised theirs. Abstain. A lone vampire in the back shrugged. I just like the drama. The tally flashed, moratorium passed. Azazel's grin turned brittle. Congrats, folks, enjoy fighting gods with sticks. Aftermath. As factions teleported out, Riaz cornered Naruto. They're scared, but we can't stop now. Wouldn't dream of it, Naruto said, eyeing a smuggled Chaos Brigade file on his hellphone. Madara Resurrection Protocol, Phase 1. Outside, a cloaked figure slipped Azazel a data chip. The samples you requested for science. Azazel pocketed it, jaw tight. This'll bite us all in the ass. The figure laughed. That's the point. Covert operation. The Chaos Brigade's research facility was buried under a literal dump, a rotting landfill that reeked of despair and old diapers. Naruto crouched behind a mound of trash, watching laser grids crisscross the entrance. Stealth mission, they said. Fun, they said. Kiba adjusted his chakra-dampening cloak, scowling. You're the one who suggested subtlety. Subtlety, relative, Naruto whispered, lobbing a pebble infused with hellfire. It short-circuited the lasers with a fizzle. See, invisible. Inside, the facility was a Frankenstein lab meets tech bro's nightmare. Glowing vats of corrupted Biju chakra bubbled like toxic smoothies, and the walls were plastered with Otsutsuki murals and a sticky note that read Madara's DNA, do not microwave. Classy, Riaz muttered, dodging a patrolling drone shaped like a severed hand. The team split up. Naruto and Kiba slithered into a lab labeled Project Izanagi, Recycling Legends, where rows of cloning tubes pulsed with eerie light. One tube held a familiar face, Madara Uchiha, frozen in stasis, his Sharingan replaced with Otsutsuki sigils. Oh hell no, Naruto growled, slamming a truth-seeking orb into the control panel. Alarms blared. Kurama's snarl echoed, they're not just cloning him, they're upgrading him. Kiba sliced open a data terminal, downloading files. Found the Biju chakra stash. Also this, he held up a vial labeled Madara's essence, handle with existential dread. Grab it and go, Riaz barked over comms. Drones incoming. The escape was a demolition derby. Akino fried drones with lightning, Kaneko punted a security bot into a vat of chakra sludge, and Naruto hurled truth-seeking orbs like grenades, collapsing the ceiling behind them. Back at the dump, Azazel stared at the vial of Madara's DNA like it owed him money. This isn't just genetic material, it's a blueprint for resurrection. Naruto pocketed the vial, hellfire flickering in his eyes. Then we'll burn the blueprint. As they warped out, a cloaked figure emerged from the rubble, clutching a backup drive labeled Madara 2 Beta. Somewhere a Rinnegan eye twitched awake. End of Chapter 13. Start of Chapter 14. Siege of Kyo. The sky over Kyo split like a rotten fruit, vomiting portals that rained down Chaos Brigade grunts and Otsutsuki cultists in bone-white robes. Streets erupted into chaos, buildings crackled with cursed energy, civilians sprinted for cover, and a corrupted Twilight healing user floated above them all, turning park benches into shrapnel with a flick of her glowing green whip. Priority civilians, Riaz barked, obliterating a cultist with a destruction orb. Kaneko, Akino, clear the east block, Kiba with me. Issei lunged at a hulking enemy wielding a twisted version of his boosted gear, its armor oozing black sludge, its voice box screeching, error, error, destroy. The clash sent shockwaves through the street, cracking the asphalt. Why's my gear gotta have evil twins? Issei yelled, dodging a punch that vaporized a fire hydrant. Naruto, still in his Naru disguise, hurled a Rasengan into a cultist's summoning circle. You got evil twins, I got devil taxes, life's unfair. A kid's scream cut through the noise, a boy trapped under rubble as a corrupted sword birth user advanced, his blade dripping molten chakra. Damn it, Naruto muttered, Kurama, we're going loud. Lucifer's mantle erupted in a blaze of crimson hellfire and gold chakra, shredding Naruto's disguise. His wings, now massive and lined with truth-seeking feathers, snapped open, casting a protective dome over the civilians. The corrupted sacred gear user froze, his sword melting under the aura's pressure. Stay down, Naruto's voice echoed with dual tones, his own and Kurama's growl. A flick of his wrist hurled the enemy through a portal, sealing it shut with a black orb. Ria stared, equal parts awed and pissed. You couldn't have done that before the Arby's blew up. Where's the fun in that? Naruto grinned, hellfire swirling around him like a cape. Temporary alliance. The battlefield was a dumpster fire of clashing egos and chakra. Ria's peerage fought back-to-back with traditionalist devils who, hours ago, had been screaming for their heads. A baron in gaudy armor deflected a corrupted holy lightning blast meant for Kaneko, grumbling, "Don't thank me, I just hate waste." Kaneko tossed him a cookie, snack for not dying. Issei's breakthrough came as a Chaos Brigade mech the size of a skyscraper stomped toward the school. Its core pulsed with stolen Biju chakra, vomiting Otsutsuki constructs like a broken Pez dispenser. I've got this, Issei roared, his boosted gear flickering between orange and unstable black. Naruto blocked a laser beam with his wing. No half-cooked moves, Flow, remember. Issei closed his eyes, breathing through the chaos. Flow, not force. The gear's erratic glow steadied into a warm, radiant gold, armor plates locked into place, truth-seeking orbs orbiting him like loyal drones. Sage Balance Breaker, Dragon's Covenant. He blinked, teleporting inside the mech's core and unleashed a spiral of pure chakra. The explosion painted the sky orange, raining confetti-sized debris. Rias gaped, since when does he teleport? Naruto smirked, kids full of surprises. Dimensional anchors. Portals kept ripping open, spewing reinforcements. Naruto hurled truth-seeking orbs at strategic points around Kyo, embedding them like nails in reality's coffin. Azazel, sink your tech to my chakra. The fallen angel wired a holographic console to the orbs. You're turning Kyo into a giant paperweight, love it. The orbs flared, weaving a net of black and gold energy over the town. A fresh Otsutsuki portal crumpled like a soda can. Now who's subtle? Kiba yelled, decapitating a cultist. Naruto grinned, told you it's relative. As the last enemy fell, the traditionalist devil lord who'd once called Naruto a half-breed abomination grudgingly fist-bumped Kaneko. Your cookies are adequate. Ria surveyed the wreckage. We won for now. Above them, the anchored orbs pulsed, steady, unyielding. But deep underground, Madara's clone DNA stirred. Aftermath revelations. The cloning facility beneath Kyo Academy made Ajuka's lab look like a kindergarten arts and crafts table. Endless rows of glowing pods held half-formed clones, some with Sharingan eyes, others with devil horns, and one unsettling hybrid that looked like Madara cosplaying as a unicorn. Files labeled Project Izanagi, unlimited backup saves littered the floor. Naruto kicked a busted pod, scowling. They weren't just cloning Madara, they were spamming him. Azazel held up a vial of murky liquid labeled Madara DNA, now 20% more trauma. This isn't just resurrection, they were upgrading him with Otsutsuki juice. Think Madara, but with wings. Rias gagged, why does everything evil involve VATS? Council mandate. The emergency council session was a dumpster fire with a dress code. Traditionalists waved photos of the cloning lab like it was a horror movie poster. This is what happens when you mix chakra and devil magic, a duke screeched, accidentally setting his scroll on fire with agitated hellfire. Sirzechs silenced the room by dropping a pod fragment on the podium. Effective immediately, all hybrid tech requires oversight. No experiments, no accidental interdimensional wars. And Naruto? Yeah, Naruto said, feet propped on the Lucifer throne. I'll pinky swear not to save the world too hard. Grafia whispered, they'll send inspectors. Let 'em, my ambudevs'll hide the good ramen. Foreshadowing. As the council droned on, Azazel slipped Naruto a data chip. Decrypted files. Madara's DNA has echoes of someone older, someone worse. The screen flashed a name, Indra Otsutsuki, Resurrection Protocol, 87% complete. Kurama growled, Daddy issues the sequel. Naruto crushed the chip. Time to crash another family reunion. Outside, a shattered pod in the lab twitched. End of Chapter 14. Start of Chapter 15. Border Skirmish. The Dimensional Outpost was a Frankenstein mashup of hellish spires and glowing chakra tech, perched on the edge of a swirling void. Naruto stood atop the central tower, watching the horizon ripple like bad CGI. They're early, he muttered, tossing a truth-seeking orb like a baseball. Rude. The first Otsutsuki scout tore through the sky, a lanky, pale figure with too many joints and a scythe made of crackling purple energy. Behind it, a dozen more poured out of a portal, their eyes glowing like toxic waste. Chakra troops move out, Naruto barked. Devil soldiers in hybrid armor, hellfire sigils mixed with Uzumaki swirls, surged forward. Their weapons hummed with orange chakra, slicing through the scouts' energy shields like hot knives through butter. One rookie fumbled his rifle, nearly singeing his horns off. Relax, newbie, Naruto yelled, deflecting a scythe strike with his wing. Aim for the glowy bits, they hate that. The rookie nailed a scout's knee, making it stagger. Like that. Perfect, now invoice them for the dry cleaning. The fight was chaos with a side of dark comedy. Akino rained hybrid lightning on a cluster of scouts, cackling as their scythes melted into goo. Kiba dueled one in midair, his sword clashing with purple energy while yelling, Your mom's a black hole. But the real prize was the Otsutsuki commander, a hulking brute with 4 arms and a crown of floating eyes. It smashed through the outpost walls, roaring in a language that made the devil troops' ears bleed. Mine, Kurama growled. Naruto lunged, his Lucifer wings leaving afterimages. The commander swung all 4 fists, but Naruto twisted, slamming a truth-seeking orb into its chest. The alien froze, its energy flaring like a dying star. Now, a squad of chakra troops hit it with sealing tags, binding it in chains of black and gold light. The commander thrashed, screeching, until Naruto tapped its forehead with a smoldering claw. Nap time, ugly. As the troops hauled the unconscious Otsutsuki into a containment pod, Azazel's voice crackled over comms. You realize it'll probably explode, right? Naruto kicked the pod, then we'll bill Momoshiki for the damages. Somewhere in the void, a pair of golden eyes narrowed. Intel analysis. The lab looked like a tech bro's basement after a Red Bull bender. Azazel sat surrounded by holograms of Otsutsuki battle logs, glowing alien gibberish that made even the devilish runes look like kindergarten scribbles. Naruto leaned over his shoulder, squinting. Why's their language look like a toddler electrocuted a spider? Poetic, Azazel said, slamming a fist on a keyboard, but this toddler just downloaded their entire playbook. Watch. The hologram flickered, translating the logs into snarky English subtitles. Log 1, Harvest Cycle 69,420, Dimension 69's chakra tasted like burnt toast. 210, proceeding to Dimension 420. Log 2, Note, Local pests, devils, tried resistance. Added extra genocide, Boss Momoshiki will love this one. Naruto blinked, they're rating worlds like Yelp reviews. Worse, Azazel pulled up a star map dotted with red X's, each a devoured dimension. They've got a schedule, next stop us, ETA a week, maybe 2 if they hit traffic. The timeline zoomed in, a countdown titled Chakra Harvest Final Course. Kurama's growl vibrated in Naruto's skull. They're not conquerors, they're farmers. And we're the prize pumpkin, Azazel muttered. But check this, he highlighted a symbol in the logs, a crescent moon swallowing a serpent. Momoshiki's vanguard uses this sigil, seen it? Naruto froze, the symbol matched the murals in Madara's cloning lab. They're not just coming, they've already been here. A hologram of Momoshiki's top lieutenant materialized, a lanky figure with 6 arms and a crown of floating Rinnegan eyes. Urashiki, Azazel read. Specialty, sucking worlds dry like a Capri-Sun. Fun guy. Naruto cracked his knuckles. I'll send him a welcome basket with explosives. As they left, the hologram glitched, replaying Urashiki's image, but his eyes flickered, sharing in red for a split second. Oops, Azazel said, deleting the file. Probably nothing, just a glitch in the system. Don't want to start any unnecessary panic. Power synthesis. The testing grounds looked like a mad scientist's playground crossed with a war zone. Ajuka and Azazel stood over a table cluttered with senjutsu-infused gadgets, think lightning-charged shuriken and sage-mode bazookas. Naruto poked a glowing arrow labeled Otsutsuki Repellent, do not eat. You sure this'll work? He asked, eyeing the unstable energy crackling off the arrowhead. Azazel grinned, only one way to find out. Hey Issei, play target practice. Why am I always the test dummy? Issei yelled, already sprinting as a squad of chakra troops fired senjutsu rounds at him. His boosted gear flared, deflecting the blasts with a F1 of orange energy. This feels like bullying. Adaptation requires adversity, Azazel shouted back, tossing him a senjutsu grenade. Catch. Issei fumbled the grenade, which exploded into a cloud of natural energy. Instead of vaporizing him, the energy stuck to his gear like glitter. Why am I glowing? Naruto's eyes narrowed. Issei, try absorbing that Otsutsuki scout's attack. A captured scout, still hissing like a wet cat in a containment pod, fired a purple energy beam at Issei. On instinct, Issei's gear surged, sucking in the beam like a vacuum. The alien energy morphed into golden cracks across his armor. Boosted gear, alien buffet mode. Issei blinked. Wait, did I just eat its attack? Congrats, Naruto said, clapping. You're officially a cosmic tapeworm. Kurama's manifestation. The real trouble came when the Otsutsuki commander broke free, its four arms slamming the ground hard enough to crack reality. Naruto's truth-seeking orbs barely held it back. Enough, Kurama growled. Let me out. Naruto hesitated. You sure? Last time you went solo, you ate a mountain. And it was delicious. Now move. With a roar, Kurama's chakra erupted from Naruto, not as a fiery cloak but as a pure chakra avatar, 9 tails lashing like solar flares. The commander froze, its crown of eyes widening in recognition. 9 tails, it rasped, voice like grinding bones. You serve mortals now. Kurama's avatar loomed, fangs bared. I serve nobody, but I'll destroy you for free. A tail speared through the commander's chest, dissolving it into ash. The avatar flickered, shrinking back into Naruto as Kurama muttered, tastes like burnt hair. 110. Aftermath. Azazel scribbled notes furiously. The senjutsu weapons destabilized their energy, Issei's gear adapted to counter-absorption, and Kurama's, well, he's Kurama. Issei poked his still glowing armor. Do I get a cool name for this, like Sage Devourer, Chakra Vacuum? How about Glowy McSnackface? Naruto tossed him a water bottle. Don't let it go to your head. As the team regrouped, the containment pod holding the scout buzzed, its data logs glitching. A single phrase repeated, harvesters incoming, harvesters incoming. Kurama yawned, nap time, wake me when the apocalypse starts. End of chapter 15. Start of chapter 16. Dimensional ambush. The trap was set in the skeletal remains of a devoured dimension, a wasteland where the sky bled violet and the ground crackled with dying chakra. Naruto stood behind a jagged rock, eyeing the bait. They'll come, they can't resist this crap. Azazel, wired into a holographic control panel, snorted. It's like dangling bacon in front of a hellhound, too easy. The Otsutsuki vanguard took the bait hard. Portals ripped open, disgorging alien warriors in sleek silver armor. Their leader Urashiki floated above the vat, sniffing the air with his Rinnegan eyes. Pathetic, you think this trash can lure us? Now Naruto grinned, snapping his fingers. But this can. The vat exploded, spewing not corrupted chakra, but chakra-forged shrapnel from Ajuka's workshop. Urashiki's shield deflected it, but the distraction was enough. Strike teams, Gyo, Rias barked. Shinobi devils erupted from cloaking jutsu. Kiba's squad phased through shadows, their hellfire katanas slicing Otsutsuki ankles. Akino's team rained senjutsu arrows that stuck to the alien's armor before detonating. Annoying gnats, Urashiki snarled, firing a beam of purple energy, only for Issei to intercept it, his boosted gear sucking in the blast like a vacuum. Buffet mode, still hungry, Issei roared, hurling the absorbed energy back as a Rasengan-shaped projectile. Urashiki dodged, but the blast hit the portal generator behind him, a towering obsidian monolith covered in Otsutsuki runes. The structure shuddered, cracks spiderwebbing up its surface. That's the weak point, Naruto lunged, truth-seeking wings carrying him toward the generator. Urashiki teleported in his path, scythe raised, but Kurama's chakra avatar materialized, swatting the alien aside like a fly. Eyes on the prize, dead lest, Kurama bellowed. Naruto slammed a hellfire-infused truth-seeking orb into the generator's core. The explosion peeled reality itself like a banana, sucking Urashiki and his forces into the collapsing void. Retreat, Urashiki's voice echoed as he vanished. This changes nothing. The Alliance stood panting in the silence, the generator's rubble still crackling with unstable energy. Cool, Issei said, holding up a charred Otsutsuki helmet. Souvenir. Naruto kicked it out of his hands. No. Sacrificial play. The dimensional battlefield was a smoking crater, the air thick with the stench of burnt ozone and desperation. Urashiki's retreat had left the Otsutsuki forces scrambling, but the rift above still pulsed like an infected wound, spewing reinforcements. Kurama's chakra avatar flickered, its golden fur dulled by exhaustion. We're out of time, let me try that. Naruto grimaced, fusing with the truth-seeking orbs. You said it'd shred your chakra. And sitting here losing will shred my pride, Kurama's growl softened. Trust me, dead lest. Naruto nodded, slamming a fist into the ground. The truth-seeking orbs orbiting him liquefied, merging with Kurama's avatar. The fusion was grotesque. Kurama's form swelled, his fur turning jagged and obsidian black, 6 glowing orbs embedding themselves like eyes across his body. He roared, the sound cracking the earth beneath them. Temporary upgrade, Kurama snarled, voice layered with a metallic echo. Let's make it count. Issei's boosted gear hissed, its orange plates overheating into molten red. I can't hold the buffet mode much longer. Then stop holding back, Naruto yelled, deflecting an Otsutsuki energy blast. Overclock it. Issei gritted his teeth, twisting the gear's core until it screamed. Boosted gear, critical munch mode. The armor shattered at the seams, vents spewing raw chakra like a broken engine. His veins glowed neon as he rocketed toward the rift, swatting Otsutsuki drones aside like gnats. This, HURTS. Keep going, Rias shouted, her destruction orbs clearing his path. We've got you. Naruto lunged into the rift's epicenter, where residual Otsutsuki energy swirled like a galaxy of poison. Kurama, get Issei clear. You're not seriously. Do it. Kurama's fused form tackled Issei out of the blast zone as Naruto spread his arms. The alien energy flooded into him, a tsunami of purple static that burned like acid. His skin cracked, veins glowing toxic violet, but he laughed through the pain. Come on, you bastards, I've eaten worse. Kurama's voice cut through the chaos. Idiot, you'll die holding that much. Then hurry up and win. The explosion lit the void. Naruto's body became a conduit, purging the Otsutsuki energy in a beam that erased the rift. Kurama's fused avatar disintegrated mid-leap, the orbs clattering to the ground as ordinary foxfire. Issei's gear shattered completely, dropping him into Kiba's arms, unconscious but alive. When the dust settled, Naruto knelt in the epicenter, his right arm scorched black and eyes flickering between crimson and violet. Told you, I've got this. Ria's voice trembled. Your arm. He flexed his charred fingers, Otsutsuki energy still crackling under his skin. Temporary, probably. Kurama, back to his usual size, coughed. Next time, let's not do that. Aftermath realities. The battlefield looked like a graveyard for gods. Smoldering craters, shattered devil armor, and the faint whimpers of wounded hybrids filled the air. Rias knelt beside a fallen shinobi devil, her hands trembling as she closed his lifeless eyes. We won, she whispered, ash staining her cheeks. Naruto's charred arm hung limp at his side, still crackling with unstable Otsutsuki energy. He kicked aside a chunk of the portal generator, revealing a hidden hatch beneath. It was heavily guarded by corrupted chakra constructs, forcing the team to fight their way through a gauntlet of traps and energy barriers before reaching the control room. Ajuka, get over here, found something festive. The hatch led to a cavernous chamber lit by blood-red sigils. At its center stood a glass coffin, wires pumping corrupted chakra into the body inside. Madara Uchiha, preserved like a museum exhibit, his Sharingan replaced with Otsutsuki runes. Resurrection Protocol 99.9% complete, Azazel read off a screen, gagging. They weren't cloning him, they were upgrading him. Think Madara, but with a side of Momoshiki's crazy. Kurama sniffed the coffin, fur bristling. Smells like Kaguya's perfume, cheap and deadly. Council Martial Law. The emergency broadcast was as subtle as a chainsaw. Sirzechs' hologram flickered over every major city, his smile gone. Effective immediately, all dimensions under Allied jurisdiction will adhere to martial law, curfews, chakra rationing, and no unauthorized interdimensional travel. Naruto muted the feed in his throne room. Yeah, because paperwork fixes everything. Grafia slapped a stack of permits on his desk. You'll need Form 666B to requisition troops, and Form 420C to breathe without council approval. Kiba stormed in, sword still bloodied. They're locking down Kyo. My squad can't even patrol without a permit. Play nice for now, Naruto said, scribbling on the forms with his good hand. We'll bend the rules later. Foreshadowing. As the Alliance licked its wounds, Azazel lingered in Madara's chamber. A hologram of Kaguya flickered on the coffin's screen, her voice glitching. You are not the only harvesters. He deleted the file, but not before snapping a photo. Naruto's gonna love this. Outside, the stars seemed darker. Somewhere in the void between worlds, a pair of all too familiar eyes opened. End of Chapter 16. Start of Chapter 17. Resurrection Revelation. The cloning vat exploded in a geyser of neon green fluid, hissing like a pissed-off serpent. Madara Uchiha stepped out, steam rolling off his revamped body like he just walked out of a villainous spa day. His eyes were the real showstopper, a freakish fusion of Rinnegan's swirling patterns and Sharingan's blood-red Tomo, glowing like stoplights in the dark. His black robe shimmered with Otsutsuki crests, and the air around him warped with every step, like reality itself was nervous. Pathetic, he muttered, flexing a hand. 6 truth-seeking orbs materialized, no longer dull black but iridescent purple, crackling with alien energy. One orb floated to his palm, morphing into a scythe that hummed with a sound that made teeth ache. This world reeks of half measures, let's fix that. Public broadcast. Every screen in the underworld, hellphones, demonic billboards, even Sirzechs' prized karaoke machine flickered to life. Madara's face loomed, his hybrid eyes piercing. Citizens of the true hell, he began, voice smooth as poisoned honey. Your Lucifer is a child playing dress-up. He allies with humans, wastes power on mercy, and lets your enemies gut you. I'm Uchiha Madara, reforged by Otsutsuki might, and I do not play. The broadcast signal bypassed all firewalls and security protocols, a testament to the Otsutsuki tech now interwoven with his being, and the pre-existing resentment many devils felt towards the new, inexperienced Lucifer. Behind him, the purple truth-seeking orbs merged into a colossal drill, spiraling into a mountain-sized demonic archive. The building vaporized in a flash, leaving only glittering ash. This is power, this is order. Pledge to me and thrive, oppose me, he smirked. Well, you've seen the ash. Reactions. Naruto's throne room was silent. On screen, traditionalist devils were already kneeling in the rubble, chanting Madara's name. The broadcast had tapped into their deepest fears and resentments, offering a vision of strength and order that resonated with their rigid beliefs. Dude, Issei whispered, staring at his hellphone. He turned a bank into glitter, that's kinda metal. Kurama's tail lashed. He's got Otsutsuki juice in his veins, smells like Kaguya's cheap perfume. Rias gripped the edge of the table, knuckles white. He's not just strong, he's charismatic. The council's already splintering. Naruto leaned back, his charred arms still flickering with residual Otsutsuki energy. Cool speech, but he forgot one thing. What? Kiba asked. I'm great at crashing parties. Faction fracturing. The Devil's Gala was supposed to be a stuffy charity auction. Instead, Madara strolled in like a rock star, his hybrid eyes scanning the crowd of traditionalist nobles sipping hellwine. A duke with a jeweled cane stepped forward, puffing his chest. You expect us to bow to a human zombie with fancy contacts? Madara didn't blink. A purple truth-seeking orb morphed into a crown of crackling energy. You'll bow to power. He snapped his fingers, and the duke's cane melted into a puddle of molten gems. Or join your trinkets. Silence, then one by one, nobles knelt. A baroness hissed, better a strong tyrant than a clown in a crown. Human world withdrawal played out on live TV. The UN ambassador adjusted his tie, avoiding the camera. Due to unstable leadership dynamics, all Chakratech exports to the underworld are suspended. Effective now. Issei threw a stress ball at the screen. We saved their butts 6 times last month. Kaneko nibbled a cookie. Humans fear Madara more than they trust us. Logical. Ria's phone buzzed, a meme from Azazel. Allies be like, it's not you, it's okay, yeah, it's you. Kurama's fail. The Biju summit was a cave lit by bioluminescent moss. Kurama faced the two tails flickering projection, tail lashing. Madara is a bigger threat than Kaguya. Swallow your pride and help. The two tails yawned. Why, you're shackled to a human, we're free. Free? Kurama's chakra flared. Madara's got Otsutsuki juice, he'll cage you next. The three tails bubblegum popped. Not our problem, maybe he'll kill you first, lol. Kurama stormed out, growling, enjoy extinction, furballs. Fallout. Naruto found him sulking in the ruins of the training field. Heard it went great, new besties. Kurama torched a boulder. They're idiots, let Madara turn them into handbags. Naruto kicked a rock. Humans bylade too, even the ramen shops are neutral. Traitors. Nah, just scared. Naruto's grin was sharp. Time to scare harder. Strategic countermeasures. The dimensional strongholds looked like a toddler's block towers if the toddler was a deranged architect with a vendetta. Naruto stood in Dimension 69, aka Sticky Hell, where the air smelled like burnt syrup and the ground tried to eat his boots. Why does this one have to be our backup base? Ajuka, elbow deep in a malfunctioning portal generator, shrugged. It's defensible. Also, the Otsutsuki hate goo. Win-win. Nearby, a squad of shinobi devils cursed as their chakra seals fused to the walls. Defensible, my hand is stuck. Adaptability builds character, Naruto yelled back, prying a truth-seeking orb off his soul. Or amputate your call. Chakra-neutralizing barriers were Azazel's latest headache. His lab resembled a unicorn's vomit after a rave, pink barrier prototypes, floating disco balls of anti-chakra, and a test dummy that now sang opera. Why does it do that? Naruto asked, wincing as the dummy hit a high C. Side effect, Azazel said, tossing a grenade-sized barrier core at him. But throw this and boom, no more fancy eye magic, just maybe don't stand downwind. Naruto pocketed it, subtlety, overrated. If Madara wants glitter bombs, we'll give him glitter bombs. Ria's infiltration. The recruitment rally was held in a converted Walmart parking lot, Madara's idea of relatable. Ria's peerage lurked in cheap disguises. Issei fake mustache, Madara 4-prez hat, and a shirt that read I heart suit Otsutsuki. Kaneko, ears and tail tucked under a hoodie, grumbling about stupid human fashion. Akino dressed as a cultist cheerleader, pom-poms crackling with hidden lightning. Madara's speech was a masterclass in ego. Weakness is a choice. Surrender your will and I'll make you adequate. Issei fake cheered too loud. Yeah, adequate. A guard side-eyed him. You knew here. Totally, big fan of the whole evil upgrade thing. Kaneko facepalmed. Nya, fail. Akino accidentally zapped the guard's coffee, giving them time to slip away. Extraction. Back at base, Ria's reviewed the intel, blueprints for Madara, Rin sharing and devil upgrades. He's not just recruiting, he's mass-producing an army. Naruto tossed the disco ball barrier at the wall. Then we crash the factory, before he starts cranking out Uchiha Happy Meals. Kurama sniffed the barrier, still smells like glitter, but hey, if it works, it works. As they plotted, a screen flickered, a distorted image of Kaguya's prison coordinates. Azazel froze, a new priority. Naruto grinned, add it to the list. End of Chapter 17. Start of Chapter 18. Capital C. The sky over Pandemonium burned neon green as Madara's forces crashed through the outer walls like a wrecking ball made of spite. Naruto stood atop the crumbling battlements, watching the tidal wave of Rinnegan-possessed devils swarm the city, their eyes glowing violet, veins pulsing with Otsutsuki rot. They moved in eerie sync, slicing through defense grids like they were cutting birthday cake. Fall back to the inner district, Ria's barked into her comms, frying a possessed devil with a destruction orb. They're targeting the lookout. A devil with 6 Rinnegan eyes crammed into its skull lunged at her, its claws dripping acid. Kiba intercepted it, his demon-charged sword screeching against its armor. These things don't bleed, what the hell? Madara's idea of a party trick. Naruto hurled a Rasengan into the horde, clearing a smoldering path. Kurama, barrier time. It'll fry my chakra for a week, Kurama grumbled, already pooling energy. But fine, let's light it up. Naruto slammed his palms onto the ground. A colossal nine-tail-shaped barrier erupted over Pandemonium, its golden light vaporizing the front line of possessed devils. This barrier, a complex matrix of truth-seeking orbs and Uzumaki sealing techniques, disrupted the flow of chakra and demonic energy, effectively severing Madara's control over the possessed devils. The remaining attackers bounced off it like flies on a windshield, snarling as their Rinnegan eyes sizzled. Madara's laughter boomed from the sky, his voice warped by 100 portals. Cowering behind a shield, how very human of you. Says the guy hiding in a spatial closet, Naruto yelled back, sweat dripping down his charred arm. Come out and fight, you glowy-eyed hermit. The barrier flickered, Kurama coughed. I give it 10 minutes tops. Then we make M count, Naruto said, summoning a Hellfire Rasengan. Somewhere in the chaos, a Rinnegan-possessed devil peeled off its own face, revealing a pulsing Otsutsuki core. This was just the warm-up. Unlikely alliance. The Grigori remnants met Naruto in a derelict casino floating in the dimensional void, a place where the slot machines spat cursed coins and the bartender was a literal skeleton. Their leader, Barrakiel Azazel's estranged uncle and a walking OSHA violation, kicked his boots onto the blackjack table. You want our sacred gear intel, cost ya, and we get to keep Madara's head as a paperweight. Naruto tossed a Chakratech grenade onto the table. It hummed, projecting a hologram of Ajuka's latest anti-Otsutsuki barrier schematics. How about this shiny toy instead? It makes Rinnegan eyes go pop. Barrakiel leaned in, his mismatched wings twitching. Throw in the recipe for that Hellfire Ramen and we'll call it even. Tech exchange. The Grigori's data vault was a USB drive duct-taped to a drunk gremlin. Naruto stared as the creature hiccuped sacred gear blueprints onto a screen. You guys ever hear of cloud storage? Barrakiel shrugged, had a falling out with the cloud, literally. The files revealed Madara's cloning facilities were juicing devils with diluted Otsutsuki DNA, turning them into puppet soldiers. In return, the Grigori snatched Ajuka's Chakratech and bolted, but not before Issei caught one pocketing a truth-seeking orb. That's ours. Relax, the Grigori grunted, we're just borrowing it for science. Kurama's eye twitched, remind me to incinerate them later. Joint raid. The cloning facility was a nightmare greenhouse, rows of pods growing Devil Otsutsuki hybrids like grotesque tulips. Naruto's squad and the Grigori stormed separate wings, comms crackling with chaos. Grigori, we're in, and by in, I mean trapped in a sentient wall. Kiba, stop whining, my sword stuck in a face. Naruto and Barrakiel reached the core, a pulsating orb feeding data to every pod. Barrakiel lobbed the stolen truth-seeking orb at it. Fire in the hole. The explosion shattered the orb, releasing a shockwave that liquefied the hybrids. The Grigori whooped, grabbing samples of the ooze. This'll make a killer latte additive. Naruto yanked Barrakiel back as the ceiling collapsed. You're welcome, by the way. Whatever, Barrakiel said, but tossed him a data chip. Coordinates to Kaguya's prison, don't die before you use it. As they escaped, a surviving hybrid pod twitched, its Rinnegan eye tracking their exit. Forbidden power. The lab reeked of burnt ozone and regret. Naruto stood shirtless in a circle of glowing seals, his charred arm crackling with unstable energy. Ajuka and Azazel argued over a hologram of his Chakradevil fusion levels, which spiked like a heart attack on a graph. This is stupid, Kurama growled, packing the edge of the seal. You're gonna turn yourself into a firework. Relax, furball, Naruto said, flexing his Otsutsuki scarred arm. If Madara's juicing up goons, we need bigger guns, literally. Ajuka tossed him a vial of liquid hellfire. Channel this slowly, maybe 10% power. Naruto chugged it, slow's not my style. The fusion hit like a truck. Devilish horns sprouted from his temples, his veins lit neon red, and the truth-seeking orbs orbiting him screamed into jagged, serrated shapes. The lab's walls buckled. Abort, Azazel yelled, diving behind a table. Can't, Naruto laughed, voice warping between his own and a demonic echo. Feels amazing. Kurama lunged into the seal, his chakra tangling with Naruto's. Idiot, let him be. The orbs fused into Kurama's form, morphing him into a monstrous hybrid, part fox, part obsidian blade, with 6 glowing eyes down his spine. The fusion ripped control from Naruto, vomiting a wave of raw energy that tore the roof off the lab. Artificial beast. When the dust cleared, the thing in the crater was new. A grotesque, shifting mass of chakra and hellfire with too many tails, too many eyes, and a roar that sounded like a dying starship. It lashed out, disintegrating a mountain ridge with a flick of its tail. What, Riaz whispered, starring from a safe-ish distance, is that? An oopsie, Azazel said, loading a shotgun filled with barrier cores. Naruto, little help. Naruto, half buried in rubble and missing a horn, groaned. Working on it. Kurama's voice echoed from the beast's maw, distorted and furious. Can't control. The artificial beast lunged at Pandemonium, its path of destruction littered with molten craters. Naruto forced himself up, his fused arm bleeding Chakra Devil energy. Oi, ugly, over here. He launched a Rasengan, now a swirling abyss of black and crimson, straight into the beast's side. It staggered, howling, and turned on him with a dozen glowing eyes. Now, Naruto yelled. Ajuka hit a button, activating every truth-seeking barrier in the city. The beast slammed into the golden dome, thrashing as the barriers squeezed. With a final roar, it dissolved into a storm of ash and sparks. Aftermath. The lab was a smoldering crater. Kurama, back to normal-ish, nursed a cracked truth-seeking orb. Never again. Naruto, missing a chunk of his hair and one horn, grinned weakly. Totally worth it. Azazel kicked a piece of the artificial beast's remains. It twitched, regrowing an eye. A minor issue. Riaz facepalmed. Please tell me that's not. The eye blinked, glowing the same violet as Kaguya's prison sigils. Oops, Naruto said. End of Chapter 18. Start of Chapter 19. Dimensional Duel. The Otsutsuki dimension was coming apart like a sandcastle in a hurricane. The sky cracked into jagged puzzle pieces, the ground dissolved into floating debris, and gravity, optional. Naruto skidded across a chunk of levitating rock, his truth-seeking orbs orbiting him like angry wasps. Across the void, Madara hovered, his Rincharingen eyes glowing like toxic traffic lights. Still clinging to that pathetic title, Lucifer, Madara sneered, flexing a hand. A black hole swirled to life in his palm, warping the already crumbling space around them. This realm will be your coffin. Naruto lobbed a truth-seeking orb, morphing it midair into a giant shuriken. Your mom's a coffin. The attacks collided. Naruto's orb shredded the black hole into confetti, while Madara's Rincharingen flared, summoning a meteor the size of Texas. Naruto ducked, the rock grazing his shoulder as it smashed into nothing because the dimension was now 60% void. Real mature, Naruto yelled, diving behind a floating chunk of castle. Says the manchild with a clown army, Madara retorted, firing laser beams from his eyes. Kurama's sacrifice. The dimension groaned, fissures spreading like spiderwebs. Kurama's voice cut through Naruto's mind, uncharacteristically calm. This place is toast, and if it goes, every dimension goes. I gotta fix it. Naruto froze, nearly taking a laser to the face. Fix it how? By dead lest. Before Naruto could protest, Kurama's chakra surged out of him, no longer fiery red but pure blinding gold. The fox's form materialized, colossal and serene, his tails weaving through the collapsing void like threads stitching reality back together. This wasn't death, but a transcendence. Kurama was releasing his individual consciousness to become a force of cosmic balance, anchoring the dimensions with his pure chakra. No, Naruto lunged, but Kurama flicked him aside with a tail. Quit whining, I'm not dying, Kurama grumbled, even as his form began dissolving into stardust. Just evolving, tell the brats I want a statue. The dimension stabilized, the cracks sealing with golden light. Madara's smirk faltered as his Rincharingen flickered. This isn't over. Yeah, Naruto spat, tears mixing with blood and sweat. You're next. With a final glare, Madara vanished into a portal, leaving Naruto alone in the sudden, eerie calm. Kurama's lingering chakra hummed in the air, warm and faintly annoyed. Don't screw this up, echoed his voice, fatting. Naruto clenched his fists, the truth-seeking orbs now tinged with gold. Wouldn't dream of it. Aftermath Revelations. Discovery of Kaguya's prison coordinates. The stabilized dimension was eerily quiet, littered with remnants of Otsutsuki tech. Naruto knelt beside a shimmering shard of crystal, Kurama's residual chakra still clinging to it. As he touched it, the shard projected a star map, pinpointing a pulsing red dot in a dead zone of the cosmos. Kaguya's prison, Rias muttered, zooming in on the hologram. It's alive, the coordinates keep shifting. Azazel snorted, of course she's in a glitchy dimension, probably full of beware of goddess signs. Naruto pocketed the shard, Kurama's faint growl echoing in his mind. Told you I'd get you there, don't die before you go. Madara's temporary alliance. The message arrived via a Rinnegan-eyed crow that exploded into a hologram mid-squawk. Madara's image flickered, his voice icy. Kaguya's return would render our feud pointless. The Otsutsuki seek to consume all chakra, leaving nothing for anyone. I, unlike your foolish allies, understand the true stakes. Power is meaningless if there is nothing left to rule. Even you aren't foolish enough to ignore that. Naruto crossed his arms. What's the catch, glowy eyes? A ceasefire for now. The hologram dissolved, leaving a data chip with schematics of Kaguya's prison defenses. Issei picked it up wary. This feels like a trap. Everything's a trap with him, Rias said, but we're fresh out of options. Naruto smirked, crushing the chip. We'll do it our way, but nice of him to RSVP. Hybrid tech leak. The news report blared in the background. Breaking, Human Corp Chakra X unveils devil energy batteries, clean power or apocalypse. Footage showed a CEO grinning beside a glowing, unstable core. Azazel palmed his face. That's the barrier tech I lost last week, whoops. Kiba slammed his sword into the table. Humans are gonna turn Kyo into a firework. Naruto's prosthetic arm crackled with leftover Otsutsuki energy. Shut it down, politely first, then we break stuff. Ria stood, her tone sharpening. I'll handle the politics, you handle the fireworks. New World Order. The dissolution ceremony looked like a goth yard sale. Traditionalist devil lords begrudgingly tossed their family crests into a bonfire made of hellfire and tax documents. A baroness clutched her jeweled codpiece to her chest. This is cultural erasure. Ria's now interim council chairwoman raised an eyebrow. Your culture was 90% nepotism and 10% bad hats. Next. The vampire representative, sipping a blood smoothie, muttered, at least we never tried to marry a mountain. Interim multiversal council convened in a dimension that was just a floating table in space. Angels, devils, Grigori remnants, and a very confused Kappa, invited by accident, argued over bylaws. Rule 1, no starting apocalypses without a permit. Rule 2, mandatory Chakradevil fusion safety training, taught by Issei somehow. Rule 3, Azazel banned from nomming anything. Azazel, already scribbling Project Fire Chicken on a napkin, shrugged. Fair. Naruto's exile. The goodbye was quiet. Naruto stood at the edge of the Hell-Human World portal, his Otsutsuki scarred arm wrapped in suppression seals. Gotta clean up this mess, he said, nodding to the violet cracks spiderwebbing his skin, before I turn into a walking nuke. Rias tossed him a hellphone loaded with council memes. Don't die and answer your texts. Kaneko shoved a bag of cookies into his hands, for Kurama. As he stepped through the portal, Issei yelled, bring back souvenirs. The portal snapped shut. On the other side, Naruto grinned, already eyeing a glitching rift in time, a flicker of a blonde kid in an orange jacket, staring back. Oops, he muttered. End of Chapter 19. Start of Chapter 20. Coalition Assembly. The interdimensional hub looked like a Comic-Con cosplay contest gone horribly right. Angels in tactical armor chugged hellfire coffee beside shinobi tweaking chakra-powered jetpacks. Valkyries argued with vampire lords over seating charts. And in the center of the chaos, Naruto stood on a floating platform, grinning like a kid who just set off a glitter bomb in a library. All right, chuckleheads, he yelled, amplifying his voice with a truth-seeking orb megaphone. If you're here to fight alien fruitcakes, grab a snack and a waiver. If you're here to whine about cultural appropriation, there's the door. A grumpy frost giant raised his hand. What's the plan? Step 1, stop dying. Step 2, win. Naruto tossed a scroll into the crowd. It unfurled into a hologram of Otsutsuki forces. They've got Rinnegan zombies. We've got this. He snapped his fingers. A squad of shinobi devils teleported into formation, their hybrid armor fusing shadow clones with devil teleportation. They moved like a blender set to Apocalypse, dismantling holographic enemies in seconds. "That's how we merge," Naruto said as the crowd gaped. Shinobi speed, devil stamina, and zero personal space. Integration woes. The training fields were a disaster buffet. A devil knight screamed as his hand signs backfired, summoning a toad the size of a minivan inside his armor. A shinobi medic tried to heal a vampire's chakra burns only to get bitten. "It's a reflex," the vampire hissed, spitting out a mouthful of holy energy gauze. Ria stormed through the chaos, clipboard in hand. "Kiba, why is there a tailed beast in the cafeteria?" Kiba, arm deep in a malfunctioning chakra cannon, shrugged. Issei fed it tacos, they bonded. Nearby, Issei waved from atop the two-tails head, holding a chakra taco truck sign. "It's a fusion." Madara, lurking in the shadows as a consultant, scoffed. "This circus will collapse in minutes." Naruto tossed him a taco, says the guy who lost to a clown. "Eat up, glowy eyes." Public demo. The grand finale was held in a dead dimension, a sandbox for cosmic-scale fireworks. Naruto's coalition faced off against holographic Otsutsuki drones. Chakra Devil Fusion, activate! Issei's boosted gear flared, merging with a devil's teleportation circle. He blinked across the field, punching drones so fast his afterimages high-fived each other. Kiba's squad combined shadow clones with demonic ice, trapping enemies in frozen fractals. Even the frost giant got in on it, hurling a boulder infused with Rasengan energy. But the kicker was Naruto himself. He launched into the air, truth-seeking orbs swirling into a helix pattern around him. Senjutsu Rasen Shuriken Hellfire Edition. The attack hit like a supernova, vaporizing the remaining drones and tattooing the word "boom" into the ground in flaming kanji. The crowd erupted, angels cheered, devils blasted hellfire confetti, and the Kappa delegate fainted. "That's how we do it," Naruto landed, his scarred arm smoking but steady. "Now, who's ready to actually save the world?" As the coalition roared, a single corrupted leaf drifted down from nowhere, black veins pulsing with Kaguya's chakra. The Otsutsuki were watching. Training Evolution. Issei's Mentorship, or How to Accidentally Teach Chaos. The training field looked like a daycare run by a sugar-crazed demigod. Issei stood atop a wobbly tower of chakra-infused textbooks, yelling at a squad of hybrid recruits. A Kitsune Devil hybrid, a werewolf with shadow clone jutsu, and a 12-foot-tall Oni who kept forgetting her own strength. "Okay, newbies, rule 1, don't blow up your teammates," Issei demonstrated by channeling a tiny boosted gear energy pulse which accidentally vaporized a target dummy and the Oni's lunchbox. The Oni burst into tears. "My sandwich." Rule 2, Issei backpedaled, tossing her a Hellfire protein bar. "Always pack snacks, now let's try gentle sparring." The Kitsune Devil immediately teleported behind the werewolf, shouting "nothing personal," before uppercutting him into a tree. Issei facepalmed. "Gentle guys like hugs but with explosions." Multidimensional drills. The coordination drills were a logistical nightmare. Squads teleported between dimensions via unstable portals, fighting holographic Otsutsuki drones that occasionally glitched into real enemies. Kiba's team got stuck in a dimension where gravity flipped every 10 seconds. "Left, right, no UP," he barked, his sword clanging off a drone that was now upside down. Akino's squad fared worse. "Why are the drones singing?" a vampire recruit yelled, covering his ears as a corrupted AI belted "never gonna give you up" in Otsutsuki static. "Adapt and overcome," Akino shouted, frying the drone with lightning, which short-circuited the portal and stranded them in a dimension that smelled like burnt popcorn. Rias monitored the chaos via hologram, muttering, "This is either genius or a war crime." Naruto Senjutsu Masterclass. Naruto's classroom was a floating island in a primal dimension where the air buzzed with raw natural energy. His students, angels, devils, and a very nervous gremlin, sat cross-legged, struggling not to implode. "Senjutsu's easy," Naruto lied, balancing a Rasengan on his nose. "Just feel the energy, become one with the thingy." A devil recruit's wings burst into sage mode feathers. "ITBURNS." That's the spirit. Naruto tossed him into a healing spring. Now homework, go calm a volcano, any volcano. The gremlin raised a shaky hand. What if we die? Then you'll die enlightened. Next lesson, how to punch black holes. Breakthroughs and breakdowns. By week's end, progress was mixed. The Oni accidentally punched a hole into the bleach dimension, the Kitsune Devil mastered teleporting tacos into enemy mouths, and the gremlin somehow fused senjutsu with a toaster to create self-heating ramen. Issei stared at the carnage, his boosted gear sparking proudly. They're learning. Madara, begrudgingly observing, scoffed. This is not an army, it's a joke. Naruto grinned, lobbing a senjutsu-infused water balloon at him. Jokes win wars, glowy eyes, lighten up. As the recruits celebrated, Reed set half the field on fire. A scout rushed in holding a sapling with blackened leaves leaking Kaguya's chakra. Boss, the scout said, we found their world tree and it's pissed. Reconnaissance mission. The Otsutsuki-occupied dimension smelled like burnt sugar and despair. Naruto's squad, cloaked in chakra-dampening stealth gear, crouched behind a crumbling obsidian spire. Riaz adjusted her visor, scanning the horizon. Intel says the world tree sapling's feeding on this dimension's core. Find it, tag it, don't wake the neighbors. Issei, fidgeting with a hybrid sensor device, snorted. Neighbors, more like deathbots. The device beeped, projecting a hologram of twisted roots pulsing with violet energy. Bingo, evil bonsai tree at 3 o'clock. Corrupted sapling. The world tree sapling was a grotesque parody of life, a gnarled trunk oozing black sap, its leaves shimmering with Kaguya's cursed chakra. The ground around it writhed with parasitic roots, sucking the soil dry. That's a sapling, Kiba whispered, eyeing the 50-foot-tall monstrosity. What's the adult version look like? A Death Star. Naruto knelt, pressing a hand to the earth. It's not just growing, it's infecting. This whole dimension's on life support. Ria snapped photos with a Deviltech camera. We need samples. Issei, distract the roots. Distract them? Issei's boosted gear whined to life. Can I just politely ask? A root lashed out, nearly skewering him. He retaliated with a chakra-infused punch, shouting, bad plant. Kaguya's vanguard. The explosion drew more than roots. 3 figures materialized in a flash of Rinnegan light, Kaguya's elite guard. Their leader, a lanky Otsutsuki with 6 arms and a crown of floating eyes, smirked. Pests, you'll make excellent fertilizer. Naruto grinned, cracking his knuckles. 6 arms, huh, bet you're great at juggling. The fight was chaos. Kiba dueled a teleporting vanguard, his sword clashing against crystalline claws. Riaz hurled destruction orbs, only for them to be swallowed by a black hole summoned by the 6-armed freak. Issei, pinned under a root, yelled, little help. Naruto lunged, his truth-seeking orbs morphing into a chainsaw. Timber, he carved through the root, then spun to block a blast from the leader. Riaz, Licho time. Riaz nodded, combining her devil magic with a senjutsu scroll. A storm of hellfire and natural energy engulfed the vanguard, their screams echoing as they dissolved into ash. Extraction. The squad regrouped, clutching vials of the sapling's sap. This stuff's like liquid nightmare, Issei said, eyeing the bubbling ooze. Naruto sealed the samples, his scarred arm trembling. Let's bounce before the whole tree shows up. As they warped out, the sapling shuddered. A single eye opened on its trunk, glowing the same violet as Kaguya's prison. Somewhere time-space rippled. End of Chapter 20. Start of Chapter 21. Dimensional liberation. The assault kicked off in World 7B, a war-torn dimension where the sky rained ash and the rivers flowed with liquid starlight. Naruto's battalion dropped in via devil teleportation circles, their hybrid armor glowing with Uzumaki swirls and hellfire trim. Move fast, hit hard, and don't lick the weird rivers, Naruto barked, launching a truth-seeking orb disguised as a disco ball. It detonated over an Otsutsuki fortress, scattering Rinnegan zombies like confetti. Meanwhile, in World 42Q, a frozen wasteland where gravity worked sideways, Ria's squad skated across ice sheets on chakra-powered skis. Aim for the weak points, she ordered, hurling a destruction orb fused with senjutsu ice. The resulting explosion froze an entire platoon of alien drones into grotesque snow cones. In World 69Z, a jungle planet where trees screamed when touched, Issei's team learned the hard way. Why are they yelling? He yelled, dodging a venom-spitting orchid. His boosted gear's new cosmic wings, glowing with stardust and crackling chakra, sliced through the foliage. Focus on the giant evil tree, not the flora. Chakra Devil Fusion in action. The fusion battalions were chaos incarnate. In World 7B, a Shinobi Devil squad comboed shadow clones with teleportation, appearing inside an Otsutsuki mech to plant hellfire bombs. Another team fused Racingans with demonic ice, creating spiraling blizzards that shredded enemy armor. Hybrid artillery incoming, Kiba's voice crackled over comms. A battalion of Wolf Devil hybrids fired chakra-infused railguns, their projectiles screaming through portals to strike targets across all three worlds. The Kicker, a chakra vortex cannon, Ajuka's latest subtle invention, sucking Otsutsuki drones into a black hole that burped out glitter. Tactical sparkles, Azazel cackled, works every time. Civilian reactions. In World 7B's refugee camps, reactions were mixed. A group of ash-covered kids swarmed a hybrid medic, poking her devil horns. "Are you a monster?" one asked. "Nah," she said, summoning a tiny hellfire butterfly. "I'm a monster hunter, cool, right?" An elderly alien elder bowed to Riaz, offering a cracked crystal. "We've prayed for liberation, but your soldiers, they smell like burning." "That's the hellfire ramen," Riaz deadpanned. "Side effect of saving worlds." In World 69Z, a tribe of sentient ferns threw rocks at Issei's squad. "You woke the trees," their leader screeched. "Sorry," Issei yelled back, accidentally vaporizing a screaming oak with his cosmic wings. "Kinda busy." Winning for now. As the liberated world stabilized, Naruto stood atop a crumbling Otsutsuki tower, watching civilians trickle back. A hybrid soldier approached, clutching a cracked photo. "Sir, these people keep calling us invaders. What do we say?" Naruto glanced at the photo, a family huddled in ruins. "Tell them we're the cleanup crew, and if they'd prefer the aliens, well, tough." As the soldier left, Naruto's calm buzzed. Madara's voice dripped with sarcasm. "Congratulations, you've traded one tyrant for another." "Nah," Naruto said, crushing a Rinnegan drone underfoot. "We're the fun tyrants." In the distance, a vortex swirled, Kaguya's chakra seeping into the liberated world like ink in water. Gear evolution. Issei's cosmic wings. The battlefield was a kaleidoscope of chaos. Otsutsuki drones swarmed like locusts, and the air crackled with unstable chakra. Issei's boosted gear shuddered, its red plates glowing white-hot as he parried a blow from a six-armed vanguard. "Come on, gear, do something new," he muttered, sweat dripping into his eyes. The drone lunged, its crystalline claws aimed at his throat. Boosted gear, cosmic ascension. A pair of wings erupted from Issei's back, vast, iridescent, and crackling with stardust. They blinked him behind the drone faster than thought, his fist plunging through its chest in a burst of cosmic energy. "Whoa!" He stared at his shimmering wings, their light scattering prismatic hues across the ash-filled sky. But the power was volatile. A stray wingtip grazed a crumbling tower, shearing it in half. Civilians screamed as rubble rained down. "Crap!" Issei dove, wings flaring to shield them. "I'm a hero, not a wrecking ball." Ria's Senjutsu destruction. In the war room, Riaz glared at a hologram of Kaguya's encroaching corruption. "We need more firepower now." Azazel tossed her a Senjutsu scroll. "Try mixing your boom juice with nature energy. What's the worst that could happen?" Riaz channeled her power of destruction into the scroll. Black and green energy spiraled around her, merging into a swirling orb of annihilative force. The lab trembled as she hurled it at a test dummy. The orb disintegrated the target, then healed the scorch marks left behind. "Controlled destruction," she breathed, but her legs buckled, veins turned black from exertion. Naruto caught her, smirking. "Save the flashy stuff for the field, President." Kiba's demon blades. The forge reeked of hellfire and desperation. Kiba hammered a blade infused with Otsutsuki sap, his hands blistered from days without sleep. One more strike. The sword hissed, its edge glowing with chakra-hungry runes. He tested it on a captured Rinnegan drone. The blade drank its energy, pulsing crimson. Perfect. But the rush was addictive. In battle, Kiba carved through drones like paper, each kill fueling the blade's glow and his own fury. When a comrade stepped too close, he nearly struck them. Stay back, he snarled, trembling. I can't control it. Convergence. The trio's evolutions collided in the climax. Issei's wings carried him into the heart of Kaguya's fleet, cosmic energy scattering drones like confetti. Rias annihilated a corruption node with her Senjutsu orb, then healed the land, collapsing afterward, drained but triumphant. Kiba, blades blazing, severed the core of a world tree root before hurling the swords aside, gasping, "No more, not like this." As the dust settled, the costs were clear. Issei's wings flickered unstably, Ria's hands still trembled, and Kiba's blades lay abandoned in the dirt. Madara observed from the shadows, smirking. Power always has a price, let's see if they're willing to pay it. Betrayal revealed. The smoke from burning supply crates twisted into the sky like vengeful spirits. Across the camp, shouts erupted as hybrid soldiers scrambled to contain the flames. Two figures cloaked in shadow darted between the storage tents, their hands crackling with chakra-sealing tags. One muttered, "This'll slow their advance," his voice bitter. "The Legion's playing with forces they can't control. Better to fall to the Otsutsuki than become monsters ourselves." In the war room, Naruto slammed a fist on the holographic map table, sending flickers of light scattering. "Third ambush this week. They're reading us like a damn scroll." Beside him, Rias traced a finger over the glowing terrain, her crimson brows furrowed. "Someone's feeding Kaguya intel, and not just anyone, it has to be from the inner circle. It has to be someone who knows our patrol routes and barrier frequencies. We need to consider everyone, even those we trust, and even consider the possibility of misinformation." Madara leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "Set a trap, let leak false coordinates for the next strike. When the enemy takes the bait," his Sharingan flickered, "we'll have our traitor." The sting operation went sideways fast. Instead of Kaguya's drones, the strike team found themselves surrounded by rogue ninja, soldiers who'd supposedly died in the first liberation wave. At the center stood Hyuga, a grizzled samurai from the Lightning Kingdom, his demon blade pointed at Kiba. "You think merging with devil kin makes us stronger?" Hyuga spat. "You've made us abominations." Kiba's new sword hummed as it absorbed the traitor's chakra. "Funny, you're using our abomination tech to fight us." Madara didn't bother with trials. By dawn, the captured traditionalists knelt in the main square, their binds reinforced with Senjutsu chains. The crowd buzzed, a mix of hybrids clutching weird fusion weapons and civilians clutching children. Naruto stood rigid at Madara's side, jaw clenched as the Uchiha addressed the masses. "You fear the cost of victory," Madara's voice boomed. "These fools would have sold our future to cling to the past." Issei's cosmic wings twitched uneasily behind Rias. "He's not even gonna let them speak." "Power demands certainty," Rias murmured, though her clenched fists betrayed her. Madara raised a hand. Fire bloomed, a searing Amaterasu that consumed the traitors in black flames. Someone retched. A child wailed. Naruto turned away, his shadowed eyes reflecting the ashes. Later, as the crowd dispersed, Kaneko sniffed the charred air. "Efficient," she said, tail flicking, "but now everyone's scared of two enemies." Madara didn't look back. Fear keeps the rest honest. The fallout hit fast. Supply routes reopened, but whispers spread through the ranks. "What's the difference between us and the Otsutsuki now?" Naruto doubled sentry patrols. Issei found himself staring at his glowing gear scales, wondering when Hero had started to taste like ash. And in the war room's darkest corner, a single, scorched chakra-sealing tag survived the purge, its symbols rearranging into Kaguya's crescent moon sigil. End of Chapter 21. Start of Chapter 22. Cosmic Frontlines. The dimension was dying in reverse. Cobalt skis cracked like eggshells, bleeding ultraviolet light that gave everyone's skin a corpse-gray tint. Entire mountains floated sideways, shedding boulders that froze mid-fall, then suddenly accelerated into artillery. Naruto ducked as a chunk of granite the size of a tank vaporized 3 hybrid soldiers nearby. "Stay mobile," he barked. "This whole damn place is Kaguya's chew toy." The truth-seeking artillery rolled in at 800 Reality Standard Time. They looked less like cannons and more like obsidian tumors, pulsing spheres mounted on platforms forged from Hashirama's cells. Madara smirked as the first battery charged, its surface swirling with all 5 chakra natures, and something else Issei's gear identified as D-Drake's breath. Fire! The shot wasn't a beam or projectile, it was a hole. A sphere of perfect negation that erased everything in its path, air, light, even the weird non-Newtonian fluid that passed for ground here. Kaguya's advanced troops didn't so much die as stop existing. Rias whistled. "Okay, that's new." Kaguya retaliated by folding spacetime into origami. One second, the coalition held a kilometer of fractured plateau. The next, the entire battlefield creased. Gravity flipped as Kaguya pinched the dimension's fabric, slamming entire platoons into what used to be the sky. Issei watched a devil squadron get compressed into a singularity the size of a marble. "She's cheating," he yelled, boosted gear flaring. "Cheating's the baseline out here," Naruto shot back, lobbing a Rasen Shuriken into a forming black hole. "Adapt or..." A sudden spatial shear sliced his sentence and the plateau in half. The truth-seeking guns fired non-stop for 17 minutes. By minute 18, the cost became clear. Each shot drained the artillery crew's life forces, aging them decades in seconds. A young ninja operator stumbled from his station, hair snow-white, skin papery. "It's worth it," he rasped before collapsing. Madara ordered the next battery forward without blinking. Meanwhile, Kaguya kept warping reality like a kid smashing Legos. She spliced chunks of dead dimensions into the battlefield, acid oceans here, fractal forests there. At one point, an entire battalion got swapped with their counterparts from a reality where the Otsutsuki won. "Friendly fire protocol," Riaz shouted, incinerating a doppelganger Kiba with power of destruction. "Check your allies' chakra signatures." The tide turned when Naruto pulled a Hail Mary. He fed Kurama's chakra directly into a truth seeker, creating a makeshift reality anchor. The resulting blast didn't just damage Kaguya's forces, it temporarily healed the dimension, stabilizing physics long enough for a ground assault. Hybrid troops flooded through the breach, their fused chakra devil techniques ripping through Otsutsuki constructs. But as the smoke cleared, Kaguya's laughter echoed through the cracks in reality. "You patch one leak while the dam crumbles. My children will feast on your desperation." Above the battlefield, the stars began rearranging into a familiar crescent moon sigil. Temporal anomalies. The first sign something was really wrong. Soldiers started screaming about deja vu. One second, Kiba's demon blades were cutting through Otsutsuki drones. The next, the same drones reassembled themselves midair, their wounds healing backward. "We just did this," Kiba yelled as a decapitated enemy's head rolled up its torso and reattached. The ground rippled like a rewinding VHS tape, trenches refilling with dirt, bullet casings leaping back into gun chambers. "Time loop sector," Riaz shouted, torching a regenerating drone with power of destruction. "Don't get pinned in the..." A spatial rift tore open behind her. Out tumbled a gangly, orange jumpsuited teen with whisker marks and zero tactical awareness. Young Naruto face-planted into the mud. "Ow, what the..." He looked up, froze. "Me." Current Naruto stared at his past self, all wide eyes and unchecked optimism, and felt his soul shrivel. "Oh, come on." The battlefield became a hall of mirrors. Hybrid soldiers collided with past, future versions of themselves. A devil officer accidentally vaporized her doppelganger from 3 hours prior, only to scream as her own arm began dissolving. "Paradox feedback," Issei yelled, yanking her behind a time-warped boulder. "Don't interact with yourselves." Meanwhile, Teen Naruto gaped at the carnage. "Is this the future? We win, right? We have to win." Current Naruto grabbed his younger self's collar, dodging a loop-resetting artillery blast. "Win? Look around, dumbass. This is what winning costs." "Whoa, since when am I such a jerk?" "Since I had to burn a village to save the planet, now move." Madara found them arguing in the wreckage of a time-locked trench. "Sentimentality's a luxury," he said, sharing and spinning as he analyzed the looping rift. "The boy's a temporal anchor. Use him to stabilize the field." Teen Naruto bristled. "I'm not your tool, Uchiha freak." Current Naruto hesitated, then shoved his younger self toward Madara. "Do it." "What?" "Trust me." "You don't even trust you." The solution was messy. Madara's genjutsu mixed with Kurama's chakra, using Teen Naruto's past essence like a battery to freeze the local time loops. Reality stuttered. Soldiers watched their own deaths replay like buffering videos. Now, current Naruto hurled a Rasengan into the central rift. The explosion of temporal energy revealed more rifts, each showing nightmare futures. A Boruto-era battlefield, a timeline where Kaguya wore the Hyuga crest, a version of Issei whose gear scales had teeth. Young Naruto paled. We fix this, right?" Current Naruto didn't answer, too busy watching his future self in one rift mouth. "Don't let her merge the timelines," before getting erased by Kaguya's hand. Aftermath. The anomaly sealed. The younger Naruto vanished, memory wiped, hopefully, but temporal echoes lingered. Kaneko kept seeing her Nekomata tails flicker between ages. Kiba's swords now occasionally hummed with energy from future battles. And Issei. He found a note in his gear's interface, scrawled in his own handwriting but dated next week. Sacrifice Madara first. Sacrificial gambit. Madara's eyes bled. Not metaphorically, actual streaks of crimson dripped down his cheeks as his Rincharingen spun like a dying galaxy. "This'll hurt," he muttered, hands weaving seals that warped the air itself. The sky ripped, revealing a kaleidoscope of realities, 1,000 Narutos fighting 1,000 Kaguyas, each reflection more horrifying than the last. This technique, a forbidden art passed down through the Otsutsuki clan, forces the convergence of alternate timelines, drawing power from each to amplify the user's abilities, but at the risk of collapsing all realities into a single, chaotic point. Infinite Tsukuyomi, convergence, Madara growled. The effect was instant. Soldiers froze mid-swing as their minds brushed alternate selves. A devil trooper's wings became feathered, then mechanical, then crystalline. The ground fused with versions of itself, snowy tundras overlapping deserts, cities from dead timelines sprouting like weeds. For 3 chaotic seconds, every version of the coalition fought as one. Kaguya staggered. "You dare use my clan's art?" "Better," Madara spat. Naruto felt Kurama's chakra boil. The Nine Tails energy form erupted, not orange but prismatic, fed by a dozen alternate Kuramas across realities. "This'll burn through my reserves in minutes," the fox roared, his tails lashing like solar flares. "Make it count, kid." Kaguya's defenses wavered. Her truth-seeking orbs flickered as the merged realities destabilized her spacetime anchors. Rias seized the opening, hurling a supercharged power of destruction sphere that crackled with borrowed energy from a timeline where she'd won. "Now Yuzure Tonkachi," Madara barked. Naruto didn't hesitate. He channeled every variant Kurama's energy into a single Rasengan, a spiraling abyss of conflicting chakra types that screamed like a dying universe. The hit connected. Kaguya's scream fractured into echoes. The cost came due fast. Kurama's form disintegrated mid-roar, his fur dissolving into ash. Naruto collapsed, clawing at his chest where the Nine Tails' presence had burned for decades. No. Madara grabbed his shoulder, fingers digging in. "He's not gone, just redistributed." Above them, the kaleidoscope skis still flickered with fragments of Kuramas, some raging, some mourning, one oddly laughing in a reality where he'd apparently married a sentient volcano. Kaguya's regenerating form hissed from a crater of melted spacetime. "You delay nothing, my clan comes stronger," she spat, hungrier. Then she vanished, leaving the coalition stranded in a patched-together dimension that smelled suspiciously of burning birthday cake. Issei found Madara leaning against a melting tree. "Redistributed, that's what we're calling vaporized now." Madara's Sharingan glinted. "Sacrifice without purpose is waste. This," he gestured to the unstable horizon where ghostly Kurama tails still flickered. "This bought time." "To do what?" "Grow harder, meaner." Madara's smile was all teeth. "Or didn't you read your future self's note?" Issei's gear scales flared, a temporal echo of his own voice whispering, "Sacrifice Madara first." End of chapter 22. Start of chapter 23. Reality collapse. The sky shadowed like a dropped mirror. One moment, the coalition stood on a battlefield. The next, they were everywhere, stranded in jagged fragments of spacetime that peeled apart like rotten fruit. Issei watched a devil battalion get bisected by a sliding glacier from an Ice Age dimension. Kiba's squad fell through a sudden portal into a neon-lit cityscape where Kaguya's face glowed on every skyscraper. "Regroup," Naruto shouted, but his voice fractured into echoes. A chunk of his own chakra cloak tore away, sucked into a vacuum where Mars should have been. Above it all, Kaguya floated in a maelstrom of merging realities, her hair lashing like white fire. "You wanted unity?" Her voice vibrated through bones. "This is unity. Infinite worlds, infinite failures. The timelines are collapsing, and soon all will be one with me under my control." Madara grabbed Naruto's arm as a chunk of their plateau dissolved into pixelated static. "She's not just attacking us, she's unspooling existence." Naruto's eyes flicked to the bleeding edges of their dimension. Otsutsuki energy, thick, oily, and wrong, leaked from the wounds. The residual energy if I absorb it. If it doesn't vaporize your soul, Madara snorted. Desperate, stupid, do it. The first taste burned worse than sage mode. Naruto's veins lit up like live wires as Otsutsuki residue flooded his system. His whisker marks deepened into jagged cracks. Kurama's absence in his mind yawned wider, but the foreign energy rushed in to fill it, cold, ancient, hungry. Kaguya noticed. Thief, she hissed, collapsing 3 dimensions into a singularity aimed at Naruto. Rias intercepted it with a power of destruction barrier fueled by pure spite. Eyes on me, hag, she snarled, even as her left arm disintegrated from the backlash. Reality flickered. Naruto saw everything, every version of himself across every timeline, all making the same choice, all reaching for the same poisoned power. A Naruto with Sharingan eyes. A Naruto fused with Kurama's skeleton. A Naruto who'd married Kaguya in some deranged peace treaty. Focus, idiot, his own voice barked from a nearby rift. Future Naruto, missing an arm and both eyes. The energy's a trap, it'll change you. Change is the point, present Naruto roared back, absorbing another surge, his hair bleached white at the roots. By the time the coalition regrouped, what was left of them, Naruto glowed like a cheap neon sign. Iset grimaced, dude, you look like a radioactive ramen mascot. Feel worse, Naruto croaked, black veins pulsed under his skin, but I can see her anchors. He pointed to 6 spinning voids where Kaguya tethered the collapsing realities. Break those, we break her grip. Madara studied him. How much of you is still you? Naruto's answer was a Rasengan the color of dead stars. Enough. Sacred fusion. Issei's boosted gear flickered like a busted neon sign. Senjutsu's messing with the balance, he yelled, veins glowing as natural energy clashed with the gear's crimson scales. Ria's power of destruction orb sputtered nearby, its usual violet hue now streaked with sage mode green. Stop whining and sink, she snapped, slamming her palm against his armored chest. The collision sparked a fusion reaction, sacred gear glyphs warping into toad sage symbols, devil wings morphing with phantom fox tails. Madara watched from a crumbling cliffside, unimpressed. Took you long enough. The ceiling array ignited like God's own circuit board. Golden senjutsu spirals interlaced with devilish runes spreading across fractured realities. Soldiers gaped as the pattern burned through dimensions, searing through Kaguya's ice world prisons, overwriting her acid-drained dimensions with glowing latticework. It's working, Kiba muttered, his swords humming in resonance. Temporary fix, Iset growled, boosted gear arm bloated with unstable energy. We need an anchor, something that'll hold this crap together. Above them, prismatic light coalesced, a familiar 9-tailed silhouette. Kurama's voice boomed through every timeline at once. All right, knuckleheads, final lesson. Naruto's head snapped up. Kurama, no, not like this. The fox's energy form dissolved into shimmering particles, weaving itself into the ceiling array's core. The cosmic lattice flared brighter, reality itself groaning as the seal stabilized. Tell that ramen-addicted brat, Kurama's echo faded as his essence fused with the fabric of existence. I'm charging interest. Ria's collapsed first, her power of destruction evaporating. Did we? Issei's gear retracted with a sickening schluck noise. We used a cosmic fox as duct tape. Yeah, we did it. Naruto stood silent, orange goggles reflecting the now stable skis. Where Kurama's presence once burned, he felt cold permanence, a seal where his oldest ally should have been. Madara materialized beside him, regret too heavy for soldiers. Says the guy with a redemption arc, Naruto shot back, voice raw. Exactly. In the seal's heart, a single fox tail flickered. Temporary, maybe. But for now, reality held. Madara's redemption. Madara laughed as his body began to crack. Not the usual I'm about to doom you all laugh. This one sounded almost relieved. His Rincharingen bled molten gold, fissures splitting his skin like overripe fruit. Took you long enough to corner her core, he said, glaring at Naruto. Now hold still, this'll hurt both of us. Before Naruto could protest, Madara's hand speared into his own chest and ripped out a writhing mass of Otsutsuki chakra. Kaguya's scream shook the void. Traitor. Funny, Madara spat, coming from you. The transfer wasn't gentle. Madara's remaining eye erupted in flames as he forced the Rincharingen into Naruto's sockets. Naruto convulsed, veins bulging black as alien patterns overrode his irises. Visions flooded him, eons of Uchiha schemes, the infinite Tsukuyomi's allure, Madara's regrets. Why? Naruto choked out. Because you're the only fool stubborn enough to not go mad with this power, Madara grunted. His legs were ash now, disintegrating upward. Now finish what I... Kaguya's tendril speared through his chest. The explosion rewrote physics. Madara's self-detonation lit the collapsing dimension like a supernova. Kaguya's core unraveled, her form dissolving into shrieking static. Naruto shielded his new eyes, their eyes, as the blast wave hit. In the dying light, Madara's voice echoed. Tell Hashirama his way was better than nothing but cosmic dust. Aftermath. The coalition regrouped in the smoking remains of reality. Naruto's Rincharingen faded, leaving his original blue eyes now flecked with permanent gold cracks. Issei picked Madara's cracked forehead guard from the debris. He really went full martyr, huh? Naruto stared at his reflection in the metal. No, just finally stopped running. Above them, the sealed universe hummed, a shinobi's legacy holding firm. End of chapter 23. Start of chapter 24. Final seal. The air tasted like burnt copper and regret. Hybrid soldiers formed a ragged circle around Naruto, their fused chakradevil energies flickering like dying light bulbs. Kiba's demon blades crumbled first, the steel flacking into ash as he poured the last of his power into the seal. Guess I'm back to regular swords now, he muttered, flexing empty hands. Ria's power of destruction sputtered out next. Don't get sentimental, she warned Issei, even as her crimson hair faded to mortal brown. You're still buying me ramen after this. Naruto's Rincharingen spun wildly, gold cracks spiderwebbing across his face. Ready? He asked the crowd. Born ready, they lied in unison. The power siphon hit like a tsunami. Devil wings dissolved, senjutsu tattoos vaporized. Every hybrid weapon in existence melted into streams of light that coiled around Naruto like a cosmic serpent. Kaguya's laughter died mid-sneer as the stolen energy twisted, reality itself bending to Naruto's will. Rewrite Genesis Protocol, Naruto intoned, voice echoing with Madara's grit and Kurama's growl. The universe folded. Kaguya's thrashing form compressed into a singularity, her screams muffled as Naruto forged a new prison from the scraps of dead dimensions, a kaleidoscope cube floating in a vacuum where every surface reflected her failures. You think this holds me? Her voice rattled through the void. Naruto collapsed to one knee, Rincharingen hemorrhaging light. Nah, but it'll hold you long enough for the next idiots to deal with you. Aftermath. The survivors stood in a world that smelled wrong. Too clean, no sulfur, no chakra ozone, just sterile air and flat white horizons. Issei flexed his bare wrist where the boosted gear had burned. So, we're normal now. Rias kicked a pebble that phased through 3 dimensions before vanishing. Define normal. Above them, the new prison spun silently. Inside, Kaguya's shadow pressed against the glass. Naruto didn't get up. Reality reformation. The skyline looked like a toddler's collage. Tokyo skyscrapers sprouted between hidden leaf's hawkage monuments. Devil castles hovered over ramen stalls, their spires dripping with Uzumaki red banners. A group of shinobi and devil hybrids awkwardly high-fived midair, one group using chakra-enhanced jumps, the other levitating on phantom wings. This is weird, right? Issei muttered, staring at a vending machine that sold both kunai and hellfire amulets. Like, objectively weird. Rias flicked a hybrid cherry blossom off her shoulder, pink petals edged with cursed seals. Call it culturally enriched. Now help me with these. She tossed him a stack of glowing tablets etched with both senjutsu runes and devilish glyphs. Energy Equilibrium Station Alpha, formerly a hot topic in Dimension 736. Naruto squinted at the holographic core pulsing in the room's center. So this thing's balancing everything. Shikamaru sighed, fingers flying over a console that blended sealing scrolls with devil tech. Basically, siphons excess chakra to power-starved dimensions, converts devil energy into arable soil for wastelands, cosmic communism. He side-eyed a flickering Kurama-shaped shadow in the core. And before you ask, no, we can't get him back. He's the grid now. Naruto's fist clenched, but he's keeping 6 realities from imploding, Shikamaru snapped. So unless you've got a better idea, Hokage-sama. The dissolution of boundaries hit hardest at a bar called the Infinite Tsukiyomi. Kiba nursed a drink beside a devil lieutenant with broken horns. Used to hunt your kind, he said, swirling a martini garnished with a senbon. The devil snorted, I once incinerated a shinobi battalion in seconds. They clinked glasses. To awkward alliances, Kiba grinned. To not dying, the devil laughed, flames flickering in his empty eye socket. Meanwhile, at the new border, Ria stood atop a floating landmass where desert met hellfire, addressing a crowd of scowling shinobi elders and skeptical devil aristocrats. Your bloodline purism is adorable, she said, power of destruction crackling in her palm, now streaked with sage mode green. But we're sharing atoms now. Play nice or I'll let Naruto's clone army babysit your realms. A grumble rippled through the crowd. Then a tiny hybrid girl, fox ears, miniature horns, skipped through the crowd offering chakra-laced hellfire s'mores. Resistance crumbled faster than Kaguya's defenses. Legacy costs. Naruto's hands were translucent now. He sat atop the newly forged Hokage monument, half stone, half devil crystal, watching sunlight filter through his cracking palms. The Rincharingan's gold veins still glowed in his eyes, but they flickered like dying embers. Below, kids played in streets where chakra and demon energy intertwined, their laughter rising like sparks. Not bad, loser, Kurama's voice whispered from nowhere and everywhere. Naruto grinned, still charging interest. Only the wind answered. Issei's apartment, formerly a training dimension. The phantom itch was the worst part. Issei woke gasping, clawing at his bare forearm where the boosted gear's scales used to dig in. His sweat-drenched sheets glowed faintly, residual energy from the seal, probably. You're doing the thing again, Riaz said, leaning in the doorway with 2 mugs of coffee. One steamed normally, the other bubbled with what looked like liquid starlight. What thing? The sad puppy stare at your empty arm, she tossed him the normal mug. You're still you, just lighter. Issei sipped, feels like losing a lung. Now you've got space for new organs, Riaz smirk faltered. We'll find a way after you fix my shower. He glanced at the bathroom where water droplets hung frozen midair. Reality still broken, huh? Charmingly broken. The cosmic grid. Kurama's presence hummed in the energy streams, a growl woven into the fabric of existence. When Naruto pressed his fatting hand to a power conduit, foxfire rippled across dimensions. Miss you, furball, he muttered. A single tail flickered in the data storm, carving idiot in celestial script before dissolving. Naruto's last council meeting. His body shed light like pollen. Shikamaru's report blurred as Naruto's ears flaked into golden dust. Energy fluctuations in Sector 7, also the Uchiha memorials glowing, again. Put Madara's name on it, Naruto rasped, voice echoing from crumbling vocal cords. Already did, Shikamaru didn't look up from his scroll tablet hybrid. Also, stop talking, you're littering sparkles on my notes. Naruto chuckled, disintegrating faster. Make me. The end, sort of. They found his cloak days later, empty but warm. Issei nudged it with his foot, think he's annoying God somewhere, Riaz said, pocketing Naruto's goggles. Come on, there's a reality rift spitting out sentient ramen. Above them the grid pulsed, a fox's chuckle in the static, a blonde streak in the auroras. Somewhere, a Rincharingan winked. The peace held. For now. End of Chapter 24. Start of Chapter 25. Century later. The festival smelled like sulfur and dango. Children with fox ears and holographic horns darted between stalls, snatching devilfire candied apples while practicing shuriken jutsu on floating targets. Above them the New World tree's branches pulsed with chakra, part wood, part crystalline lattice, its roots vanishing into portals that fed 100 dimensions. A billboard nearby flickered between ads for shadow clone tutoring, and Hellfire barbecue sauce, now 50% less apocalyptic. Mom says your great-great-aunt Riaz once vaporized a moon to make a point, a teen muttered, scrolling a tablet that glowed with both sealing formulas and demonic runes. His friend snorted, adjusting the Gremory crest stitched into his hybrid Jounin vest. And your grandpa Issei apparently flirted with a black hole. Old people were weird. Gremory Diplomatic Tower, formerly a demon castle. Amara Gremory leaned over her desk, crimson hair streaked with sage mode green. The holographic council of elders buzzed before her, shinobi, devils, and everything in between. "Let me summarize," she said, voice smooth as her ancestors' power of destruction. "You're mad because the Uchiha District's reality garden is accidentally incinerating your sacred scrolls with hellfire pollen. Solution: stop storing scrolls in a biome that literally rains lava every Tuesday." A bearded elder turned magenta. "Tradition demands." Tradition got rebooted when Grandpa Madara nuked himself into confetti, Amara shot back. Next complaint. Issei's Harmony Corps headquarters. The rift was small but sassy, a pinprick in reality that kept spitballing origami cranes into the shopping district. "Seal it with this one, right?" A rookie agent held up a hybrid tag, its design blending Uzumaki spirals with Gremory sigils. Captain Murai, codename Boosted Legacy, rolled her eyes. "Flip it, dumbass. Devil glyphs go under the chakra matrix unless you want ducks." The rookie fumbled, the tag activated. Instead of cranes, the rift belched out a single, confused koala holding a kunai. Murai sighed. "Third this week. Somebody reboot the containment algorithm." Peacekeeping Patrol 6. The squad's wings were a patchwork, feathered, bat-like, one that shimmered like Rasengan energy. They hovered above a farming dimension where devil-engineered crops grew in chakra-enriched soil. "Disturbance in Sector 12C, the scanner chimed. "Illegal time loop charm sales." Corps Officer Ren Horns filed down to Nubs groaned. "Probably Grandpa Kiba's great-grandkids again. Last week they sold retroactive cheat codes that turned a senator into a turnip." His partner, a shinobi with shadow clone stubble, grinned. "Let's nab him before the turnip runs for office." Evening at the Convergence Monument. Amara placed a ramen cup at the base of Naruto's statue, half hawkage stone, half glowing energy construct. The plaque read, "He united realities and still owes me 50 ryo." A breeze stirred, scattering cherry blossoms that combusted midair into harmless hellfire sparks. Somewhere in the cosmic static, a familiar voice chuckled. "Still guiding us, huh?" Amara smirked. The statue's Rinsharing and I winked. "Probably a glitch." "Probably." Legacy characters. The New World Tree's whisper. The tree's roots pulsed like veins, its bark shimmering with Kurama's telltale crimson hue. A young chakra engineer, Eiko, pressed her palm to the trunk, tuning her headset to the energy frequency. Static crackled, then a gruff voice growled through her earpiece. "Stop leaning on me, brat, you're blocking the sunrise." Eiko jumped back. Did the tree just complain? Her supervisor laughed, adjusting his Deviltech goggles. "Foxfire OS update. The Kurama subroutine's a little personality forward. Try asking nicely." Eiko hesitated. Can we optimize the Sector 5 chakra flow?" The leaves rustled, a holographic paw flickered, rerouting energy lines with a grumble. "Now who's the glorified irrigation system?" Madara's Memorial, Flame War in Marble. The statue stood defiant, one hand gripping a fractured Otsutsuki horn, the other extended like he was mid-argument. Graffiti splashed its base, World Uniter in gold beside War Criminal in blood-red spray paint. "He saved reality," protested a teen in a hybrid academy jacket, waving a history tablet. "By blowing himself up," countered a devil merchant hawking Uchiha Redemption merch. "Great message for the kids, commit war crimes, then yeet into a supernova." Nearby, an elderly shinobi laid a single lotus at the memorial. "Fool," he muttered, "should have lived to see the mess you fixed." The statue's Rinsharing and I glinted, almost smug. Naruto's Cosmic Nudge. Amara Gremory stared at the rift fracturing over Tokyo 12. "Seal it with the hybrid array," she ordered, but the containment team faltered, their gear glitching. A whisper tickled her ear, warm and raspy. "Try reverse polarity, kiddo." She blinked, "Flip the chakra flow." The team hesitated, then recalibrated. The rift sealed with a pop, birthing a shower of glowing ramen packets. Amara smirked skyward, still a troublemaker. Above, a constellation winked, 9 golden tails swirling into a familiar smirk. Post-credits revelation. The rift hissed like a live wire, its edges fraying into static. Security drones, sleek Boruto-era tech fused with devilish runes, circled the anomaly near the New World tree's roots. One drone extended a scanner, chirping, "Chakra signature mismatch, Otsutsuki residue detected." A shadow moved. A cloaked figure stepped through the rift, boots crunching over debris that shouldn't exist yet, rusted Kurama-shaped shuriken, a shattered Gremory crest, a photo of Naruto's cloak mid-disintegration. Their glove flickered, part chakra seal, part demonic gauntlet, as they pressed it to the world tree's bark. The tree screamed. Kaguya's prison now a tourist trap. The kaleidoscope cube sat in Convergence Plaza, kids tapping it to trigger holograms of the Great Cosmic War. The figure materialized, ignoring warning signs like "Do not feed the INTERDIMENSIONAL tyrant." Their gloves split the cube's surface like wet clay. Inside, Kaguya's essence coiled, a serpent of starlight and spite. Kaguya's voice crackled. "Save it, Auntie," the figure muttered, voice distorted. They siphoned her essence into a vial glowing with Uzumaki and Otsutsuki seals. "We've got bigger pests to fry." The getaway. Alarms blared as the figure vanished through the rift. Security teams arrived to find two realities overlapping, Boruto's Konoha skyline fused with the Gremory clan's Hellfire archives. Captain Murray picked up a discarded gauntlet shard, hybrid tech, but old hybrid tech. She squinted at the carvings, a crescent moon wrapped in thorned vines. Someone been grave robbing. Above her, the rift sealed itself, but not before a hologram flickered in the static, a throne room of bone and chakra, and a silhouette crowned with Otsutsuki horns. Epilogue. In the cosmic void, Naruto's energy form paused mid-drift. "Trouble?" Kurama's voice rumbled through the void. Naruto's spectral eyes narrowed at a distant ripple in reality, the fun kind. The ripple surged, revealing a fleet of Otsutsuki warships and a single cloaked figure kneeling before them, Kaguya's vial glowing in their palm. "Harvest begins," hissed a voice older than chakra. Naruto cracked his knuckles. Yeah, get in line."